I haven't put the live stream on by accident. I am actually live streaming. I'm just waiting for somebody to come in, or someone's. And we have a winner. Fitzy, how are you doing? I'm doing well, thank you. Doing very well. You're the only one in at the moment. Let's see if we get a few more in. Strange way of doing it, isn't it? We've got somebody else coming in now. Who's this? Dixon Normally. So, okay, a few people coming in now. How you doing? Big up yourself, Peter. Ryan, I'm watching from Marrakesh. Mr. Superstar, greetings. What a lovely surprise. I was going to say something. I'll save it till a few more people in. Wow, 33 already. Angus, how you doing? Thank you for all your support, Angus, on Facebook. There's some real nutters on there. At one point, I was going to shut down my Facebook account, as you know, because there's so many trolls and idiots on there. Surprisingly, I'm up to 25,000 followers on there now. It's unbelievable, isn't it? With the sort of stuff I post, you know, AI images and some old pictures of the bars in Patpong and what have you. But I do read the comments, and I do appreciate, you sometimes fob them off. You know, it's just Facebook. It's just one of those platforms where people can let rip. I don't know what people get out of it, but there you go. Hobson's Choice. Hey, glad you're feeling better. Super hot these days. Yeah, it's really hot. The reason I've decided to jump in and do a little bit of a live stream today is because obviously Sunday I was scheduled, and I came back from Cambodia, and it was one of those kind of it wasn't that I lost my voice and I couldn't talk, but what it was, if I didn't talk, I was kind of okay. But as soon as I started talking a few words, I got a really tickly feeling in the back of my throat, and I'd start coughing, and I'd have to drink water. So if I didn't talk, I was fine. So I didn't really want to come on the live stream and be spluttering and drinking water every 5 seconds. I don't think people would have appreciated that. Hi, Andrew. How you doing? Good morning, Peter. Nice to see you on an early live stream. It's only 2:20 here. I was kind of contemplating. I was thinking, shall I go to the MBK Centre or shall I do a live stream? And it's so hot out there. I'm not going to the MBK Centre. Who else we got in? Leroy, how you doing? Nice to see you in. The Journeyman, hi. Norman Ward, how you doing? Derek Sutton, please, I love your pictures on Facebook. Yeah, I mean, people don't have to look at them, do they? I get these pictures from everywhere, all over the place, and I do a lot of AI images, but people, like, I just replied to a comment today. Some guy says, oh, you shouldn't be making fun of Thai people. And I'm like, I'm not making fun of Thai people. This is what actually happens down in Pattaya. Bar girls wait for foreigners to take money out of the ATM, and it's not making fun of them. It's just humorous. But, you get ripped into. This is a problem when you do things online. Road trip round. Thank you, Peter. Glad you got better quickly. 90%, I think. Ignore the very colourful bedspread in the background there because I don't have a green screen today. I've just done this on spec. I didn't choose it. Honestly, I didn't. But I'm actually, it's growing on me, actually. It's growing on me. It looks like one of the things, like, so a normal guy suddenly wins the lottery and he becomes a millionaire and he goes out splashing. It looks like one of the sort of things he'd buy when he comes into money. When I first seen it, my eyes nearly popped out my head, but it's okay. It's okay. Darren, good morning from a very pleasant Suffolk. Morning, Darren. I believe the weather's getting quite good there, isn't it? Hence thousands of people coming across on boats. The news coming out of the UK now, it's unbelievable. Hobson's Choice, humoured, bad, yeah. Derek, I bet I'll be there on Friday. Can't wait. It's a good time to come now. It's not so crowded. Excuse me with this. I'll be doing this all the way through. It's not so crowded now, but it is very hot in the afternoons. Early mornings up until about sort of 10 is okay. Evenings, I mean, it never gets cold in Thailand, but the afternoon it's relentless. I was in Cambodia. I don't know if you've seen that video I released the other day. It was the same in Cambodia. I spent all day looking around these temples, and it was like someone threw a bucket of water over me. I was just drinking like constantly, liters of water. Lucky it was available to me. But don't let it put you off. You'll have a real good time here. Everything's good. Scott Madden, hi. Good time for Aussies. That's good. Scott, what time is it where you are, Scott? Talking of Aussies, Aussie rules. How you doing? He knows why I'm laughing. D&E-san, hi, how you doing? Pyro Matt, hi, Peter, I'm coming back to Bangkok next week. Well, as I've just said, you're going to have a good time, of course, but it is very, very hot at the moment. I know a lot of guys who live here who just won't go out in the afternoons. I suppose if you're on limited time, you have to, don't you? Rubbernecking, afternoon from Trang. How you doing, Rubbernecking? Wes, how you doing? I do notice all your comments on Facebook as well. Good afternoon, mate. Glad you're feeling better. I am feeling better, but not 100%. You know, I couldn't kind of go and do a workout in the gym, but just getting over it now. I've started dieting again because I'd actually done really well. I was 108 kilos, went down to 97, and I didn't think about it. I was still been exercising, but I've been eating pizzas and fish and chips and all the rubbish. And I jumped on the scales the other day, and I was 103. And the reason I jumped on the scales is because I was looking at my videos, and I could see it's actually gone down a little bit now. But if you look a week or so ago, my face was really getting round like the old days, and I thought, oh no, I don't want to get back up to 108 because it was so hard to lose it. So I've started again. Really limited in what I eat, and mainly like the carbohydrates. I do eat carbohydrates, but I'm trying not to eat too much bread and rice and that sort of thing. I'm fasting until 1 o'clock. So my last meal is normally around 6:30 p.m. And what did I have last night? I had a salad last night and an omelette because I've just started. Eventually, I'll have a salad tonight again and no omelette. And I didn't have anything till 1 o'clock today, where I had 3 scrambled eggs. And I was so hungry, I had a bowl of homemade muesli, which is carbohydrates, I know, but it was a very small bowl. So we'll see how that goes. I've gone from 103 to 102 again. So I'd love to get down to 90 kg. And it's not just about how you look, it's how you feel. I remember getting down to 97. I felt so much healthier, and I didn't get tired so much, you know. But even now, I know, okay, I've been sick, but I'm starting to notice it. So I just don't want to be that fat, lazy person, you know. I mean, you see so many of them in Pattaya. I don't want to slate people off and speak badly of people, but you know what I mean. When you're in Pattaya, you look at some guys, they just let themselves go. You know, they have a Sunday roast for lunch every day, and burgers and kebabs when they come out of bars at night. And some of these guys are huge, you know, legs like tree trunks. And you look and you think, well, I had diabetes too, and I was only 105 kilos. I don't have it now. So I want to try and get healthier. I've hit my 65th birthday a couple of weeks ago. I don't have any serious illnesses, so I need to kind of look after myself. So, you know, I try and get the weight down again. And it's great getting into some smaller clothes because, you know, in Thailand, they don't have, they have this free size. I mean, there's no such bloody thing as free size. Free size means it'll fit everybody, but how ridiculous is that? But I bought a couple of nice polo shirts. I keep forgetting the name of the shop, but they're a Japanese brand located in all the big malls. And they only go up to 2XL, and I'm generally 3XL. But when I lost the weight, I could get into these polos, and they're really good quality. They're about 800 baht each, but sadly, they are hanging in the closet with a sticker like "fat bastard" on it, so I can't wear them. But I will regain those 2 polo shirts back on my body again. Who else we got in? Andrew, have you heard the UK government are spending 50 million to dim the sun? Blimey, we only get the sun for 2 weeks a year. I haven't heard that, and I know you're only joking, but I have heard about them wanting landlords to house a load of people. You know what I'm talking about. It makes me so angry. Wes, I just switched on YouTube, and I see you were on Tuesday week. Tuesday week, I'll be in Phuket for 5 nights, then up to Bangkok on the 19th. I dropped from almost 90 kg in last October to just over 13 I'm 175. Well, I consider 90 kg pretty good going. That's my goal, actually. The only problem is when you lose weight, and I did notice it, it puts years on you because when you've got a chubby face, it kind of pulls the wrinkles, you know. Hey, maybe I should have one of those, but that looks all right, doesn't it? Look. And but when you lose the weight, you know, it all kind of sags, and you do look. It's a trade-off, really, you know. So you're going to Phuket. Do you mean mini Moscow, Wes? Ryan, you've gone from talking about the weather in England all the time to speak about Thailand weather all the time. Okay, so what do you want me to do? Delete you, ban you, ignore you? Is it your stream or mine? Right, Hobbs's choice. Weight is fluctuating too. Went down to 94 kg, back up to 79. It's a difficult one, isn't it? I mean, we all enjoy. It's difficult here in Thailand because there's so much choice, and the food is so good. The foreign food here is so much better than the UK. Okay, Ryan, I can see you were only joking, so don't take it to heart. I would never ban you. I mean, I'm only joking as well. I just see the smiley faces there. Well, we British, we like to talk about the weather, don't we? We're famous for it, but I'm not going to talk about it for the whole stream. It was just a fleeting comment, as they say. Jeremy, Shall I call you now Mike or Jeremy? It used to be Jeremy. Morning from the UK, a surprise live stream. Yeah, just kicking my heels, really, Jeremy. I don't want to go out. It's too hot, and I'm still getting over my kind of flu symptoms I had. I'm able to talk now, obviously, or I wouldn't be doing the stream. Got my Jason Bourne lookalike T-shirt on here from Decathlon. Very nice, very nice. I mean, drop down to 73. 73, you must be quite a slim guy then. That's very light, 73. Leroy, oh no, how dare you talk about the weather? We're famous for it in the UK. It's our favorite subject. If you meet somebody who you haven't seen for a while in the street in the UK, the first thing you'll say is something like, cooler than it's been lately, isn't it? Or it's warmer than it's been lately, isn't it? Or, oh, hasn't rained for a while. That's the opening line to every British conversation. Sad, really. Anders, how you doing? Are you still down there in Hua Hin? I'm actually going down to Hua Hin on the 15th. I'm going down 15, 16, 17, coming back on the 18th. I'd like to do it on my scooter. It says 3.5 hours. That's without any stops. I've done Pattaya and I've done Kanchanaburi, and I plan to go to Ayutthaya on the old Honda ADV 160. And I'm kind of contemplating now, I've booked the hotel already in Hua Hin for 3 nights. I think it's called the City Hotel. I'm not staying on 94 this time. But I'd like to go down on my scooter. But of course, we're getting close to the rainy season now. In middle of May, it's kind of touch and go, isn't it? Steve-O, thank you, Hobson's Choice. Only been there in November. Right. Okay, Fitzy says the Aussies talk about the weather all the time. I'm putting that up because I like your username, but I don't like your comment, but I like your username there. Okay, Aussie Rose. Peter, did a short trip to Siem Reap give you the idea that Cambodia might be a good retirement alternative to Thailand? Well, it's funny you should mention that, because that video I did on the temples and all the rest of it, somebody told me off. I had somebody write and say, oh, leave that to other people, concentrate on the manga video. It's like, what? I've actually done another Cambodian video where I'm kind of just sitting down talking to the camera like this, but it's half an hour, and I'm discussing whether I could, or you could actually live in Cambodia, and specifically Siem Reap. Would it be a place to retire to? And that's going to be released to members on Saturday and everybody else on Tuesday. And in that video, I talk about things you can get in Cambodia, negative things about being there. It's 99% positive. I won't give the game away, because I asked the question, could I live in Cambodia? And I give the reply to that. I answer that question right at the end of the video. But I go through everything, the cost of accommodation, transportation, Western food, Cambodian food, safety concerns, medical, everything. So look out for that video. As I say, I'll be out on Tuesday for members. I don't know if I've given it a title yet. Let me have a look on here, because it is uploaded. It's just nobody can see it. Retire Thailand versus Cambodia. Which one? So if you're one of those guys, you're interested. It's certainly a lot cheaper in Cambodia. It certainly is. Now, somebody's given me who's that? Checkbound. Hello, Peter and everyone, and greetings from Prague. Hope everyone is doing well. Sorry to hear you were sick. How was Cambodia? Thanks very much for the super chat. How was Cambodia? It was pretty good. Let me just say hi to Alpha Omega occasionally. How are you doing, sir? Glad to hear you're better. I apologize if you didn't cause me any offense, okay? It actually put a smile on my face, Dave. I do watch your stuff, apparently, and you are a bit of a ranter, I'll give you that, but I didn't say anything in a negative way. The only reason I made that video was because you made the video saying, if you're in Thailand, you shouldn't be eating fish and chips. What the bloody hell are you doing here? And you know yourself, if you live here, you can't eat fish and chips. I mean, you can't eat Thai food for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day of the week, 365 days a year. You know that. And you've made videos where you've been eating McDonald's, okay? So I could have made it a bit of a nasty video, but I didn't want to do that, because I know you didn't mean any sort of harm by it. And the only reason I made it was because I wanted to get the point across that when you live here, you have to eat your own food sometimes. And the other point was I just had to, I had to return the video, or else people might have taken it seriously on board. But good to see you in the stream. I'm glad everything's going well for you. I did notice your other channel had over 100,000 subscribers. Unfortunately, I'm not a regular watcher because I'm so busy with my own channel. I heard rumors something happened with that other channel. I don't know. I haven't heard anything else. But anyway, I hope I've cleared that up. Right. Let's. Who else we got? Well, let me put it up there. SEP. My favorite human, Peter. Thank you. The door's only that big, I won't be able to get my head through. So, be careful. Don't give me too many compliments. Hobbs's choice yesterday was big, loud lightning and thunder rain for 2 hours. Air quality better too. We had a bit of rain here in Sukhumvit in Bangkok. It wasn't too bad. Let me just check the air quality because I will be going out for my regular walk a little bit later on today. I use IQ Weather. IQ Air. It's a fantastic app. It's not very good today. I don't think I'll be going out at 127. The safety is 50 p.m. In Europe. It's 35 p.m. levels. 127. I mean, that's unhealthy. So I'll probably go up to the gym in my apartment today. If it drops below kind of 70, 80, which it does sometimes in the afternoon, it's quite bad. And then towards 4 or 5 o'clock, it can drop significantly. So if it does drop, I like to go to the park because, when you're on a running machine, it's just so bloody boring staring at the wall. I listen to stuff on YouTube, but as I say, it's just, we'll see how it goes. Rubbernecking. That fried chicken requires a lot of self-restraint and it's everywhere. Good Western food here. There's some good Thai food. I did try some Cambodian food and I was really surprised because it was very, very good. The biggest difference, and I mentioned this in my upcoming video next week about retiring Cambodia versus Thailand, plug. The biggest difference, I thought, well, okay, look, I had pizzas and stuff while I was there because I do like a good pizza. And I had one of the best pizzas I've ever had in the Red Piano on Pub Street. But I did try some Cambodian food and it was absolutely delicious. But the biggest difference between Cambodian food and Thai food is it looks exactly the same, but it's totally no spices in it. The Thais, they love their spicy food, as I do. And it looks the same, but there's no spices in it. Robert Hardy. Hi, dear. How you doing? Okay. I think someone's saying hello to Dave there. Dave gets a lot of flack sometimes. It doesn't mean any harm. Hobson's Choice says, I hope you're still watching, Dave. Dave loves a rant, but most of it is harmless. I watched a video where a younger YouTuber, he makes, everybody's got their own style of YouTube. Everybody's hungry to create content. And I watched one where a YouTuber, he made a great kind of, I don't know how to describe it. It wasn't an animation. I'll forget that. I don't know how to describe it. But he made one about Dave, and it was a little bit derogatory, really. Even APW says, I enjoy your rants. Stephen, all SE Asians eat fast food and its locals as traditional food. So one thing I've noticed from coming here lots and lots of years ago, there wasn't a lot of fast food. When I first arrived, I wasn't living here. I just came for a short time around 1994. And I did notice then there was an A&W at Pantip Plaza. I don't remember seeing any McDonald's or Pizza Huts or anything. I'm not saying they weren't here, but I never seen any. So they must have been few and far between. And you didn't see a fat Thai, they're all very, very slim. And you might have seen the occasional old boy, maybe, some guy sits at home all day. Okay, so let me just say thank you to Dave, who's given me a couple of super chats here. Let me put them on screen. Thank you, David. So 300 baht on that one and 300 baht on that one. Cheers, I appreciate that. We all work hard for money, and 300 baht, I can get probably 4 beers and that. I'll have a drink on you. Thanks, Dave. And no hard feelings, yeah? I thought they were both good videos, by the way. I like the bit on your video where, what the hell are you doing here? It still makes me laugh just thinking about it. Right, okay. Onward and upwards. Where are we? I've lost my place now. We've done check. Right, we'll start with Robert Hardy. No, I did Robert Hardy, didn't I? Okay. Hilko Bosman, were you sick for long flu? I don't know what it was. It was, I think I caught it on the aircraft going over to Cambodia because there were no masks and there were people coughing and stuff. And it was a very confined space, obviously being an aircraft, like Peter stating the obvious. It weren't a bad flight. But I think I caught it on the way. And what it was, every time I spoke, I got a tickly feeling in the back of my throat and it would make me cough. So not ideal for a live stream, unfortunately. Okay, you're getting lots of support there, Dave. So that should, when you get shit off people, it's always nice to get a few compliments as well, isn't it? I was going to take, Dave, if you're still there, I was going to take down my YouTube channel, my Facebook page. I've got 25,000 followers on Facebook, and I don't really put that much up there. I like to put up lots of old photographs of Pat Pong and back in the day sort of stuff. And I do a lot of AI images now. I've taught myself AI, and I've become, I think, fairly proficient at it. And I do kind of funny scenes of girls waiting for guys to take money out of ATM machines and stuff like that. But I just get so much shit. So many guys just like say, "Oh, you're taking the piss out of the Thais," or you got nothing better to do and all this. And I was thinking of taking it down, and I thought a few guys on here said, "No, don't take it down, stuff them." And I thought, yeah, you're right. Why should I take it down? Just block and delete. Okay, another one there. Robert, it was a very strange video / idea. The fish and chips one. Okay, I think sometimes you think of, it's the same for all people who make videos here in Thailand. It's very hard. It is very, very difficult to come up with a constant stream of new material. It really is. When I started 5 years ago, I could count the YouTubers here on two hands. I mean, the best storyteller was Simon Landis Smiles. He had some great stories. But that was before I had my YouTube channel. But the thing that used to wind me up about Simon, his stories were great. And I'd start off in my kitchen with a beer in Kettering in Northamptonshire, 9 o'clock at night, and I'd watch it. And he'd say, well, we'll find out what happened to him next session. Then you click onto the next one, and it's now midnight because he's already read out 4. And you think he's got to be getting to the end soon. It's now 1 o'clock in the morning. I took the laptop upstairs and a couple of beers. I'm sat on the edge of my bed with a laptop on a little table there, and I'm there. Come on, give us the end. What happens to him? And it's 4 o'clock in the morning. You think, this is it. He's going to give us the end. What happened to him? And we'll leave it there, and we'll come back with episode 3,444. Computer. No, it wasn't that bad, but you know what I mean. But he was very, very good. But the point is, back then, there wasn't many people making YouTube videos in Thailand. And now, especially in Pattaya, I mean, everybody's making YouTube videos. But the thing is, what makes me happy is a lot of the YouTube videos that are getting made, I did 5 years ago. 20 things you shouldn't do in a go-go bar, 10 tips if you're coming from the UK to Thailand, 20 things that'll tell you if your girl's a bar girl or if she's genuine. I mean, all this stuff's been done and dusted a long time ago. YouTubers interviewing other YouTubers. Well, we did all that during COVID, so it's all old hat now. So it's kind of the guys who are coming along now. There are some really good ones, actually. There's a young guy in Pattaya. I forget the name of his channel, but his editing is fantastic. Really, really good. His content doesn't interest me because it's all about bar girls, soy six. He concentrates on soy six bar girls, and you don't do this in a bar. And I find the content very boring now. But his editing is fantastic. He's good. You've still got that guy down there. Is it everything Pattaya? He never puts his face in the videos, but he gives out a lot of information. But he has his haircut every couple of days, doesn't he? Because he always got a story from his hairdresser. Trevor's still down there doing his bit. Here in Bangkok, there's so many. So again, it is hard to come up with material. And I think that day Dave was probably sat there and come across my fish and chip video and thought, I'll have a go at him. It's difficult, Toby Price, it's melting here in Chonburi. It is here in Bangkok, although it does look like it could rain. I was going to go to the gym outside yesterday to the park, but I did go. I got halfway down the soy and it started raining, so I went up to the gym. Right, Michael, how you doing, Michael? Listening to this whilst working away. Nice to see you, Peter. Nice to see you, Michael. Michael's probably my youngest viewer. Speaks fluent Korean. Hobbs's choice IQ was 25 on Monday. Today it's gradually getting worse. Not still burning fires, though, are they? Because that's normally what causes it. Rubbernecking. I spent a month in Siam Reap recently. It took me 10 days to settle in. I enjoyed it, but outside of Siam Reap, it's pretty barren. I've got a friend who spends a lot of time in a place called Kampot. Now, he's a pensioner. He's 70. He's still got his marbles rolling the right way and everything. And he's a bit slow on his feet, but he's okay. He's not kind of housebound, as it were. And he swears by Kampot. It's a small town next to a river. Not very exciting, I would imagine. But he lives on a UK pension, and he swears by it. He does half his time there. Well, a third of his time there, a third of his time in Hua Hin, and then he does some time in the UK as well. I'll tell you what, just talking about those fish and chips, honestly, I know when my videos come up, it says paid promotion included. The reason for that is because I'm sponsored by um, One Stop Visa and Thai Legal Protection. You see their links in my videos, so they sponsor me. So that's why you always see that paid. Nobody else pays me. Like when I do food reviews, hotel reviews, nobody pays me. You know, it's amazing, really. I mean, I was in a restaurant the other day. I won't mention it, what even kind of restaurant it is, because it will give it away. But I was in a restaurant 2 days ago, and I'd actually said, "Oh, the food here is brilliant. I come here. It's my place to go to when I want this type of food." And the girl came up to me, the kind of manager, I think she's a manageress or supervisor, nice woman. And she says, "Oh, I've had so many customers in here who said, I'm only here because I've seen you on YouTube. I've seen this restaurant on YouTube on Thailand Bound." I mean, loads. And I'm like, "Oh, great. I'm glad it helped you out." Like, but she's never sort of said to me, "Would you like a free coffee or a plate of ice cream or anything like that?" And I've done the same in several restaurants here, and they never offer you anything, not so much. And there was actually a funny story. Again, I won't name the place, but there's a Westin bar. You know, it's a restaurant come bar, a typical kind of British pub / American pub, whatever you want to call it. And I had a meal in there, and I thought I'll make a video. So I made a video of me having a meal in there, and I gave my opinion about the meal, the price. I showed the receipt and everything. And one day I was walking out. I said, "Oh, I seen the manager." Obviously, he was a manager sitting at the bar, and I said, "Did you see the video I put up?" And he says, No, I'll have a look. And he looked at it. He says, yeah, that's good. I like that. And then they put it up on they've got their own web page. And I looked at it, and my video that I took of them is on their web page now. So they've embedded it. And he actually said to me on the day, he says, "Next time you come in, the drinks are on me." Do you know what? I've never so much as had a Coca-Cola out of the guy. I've gone in there a few times and had meals, but never. The memories are very, very short. But I don't do it to get free meals and free drinks. You know, I do it to get content, basically. Smooth operator. Morning, Peter. Is there much of a mongering scene in Cambodia? I knew this was coming up. I'm looking at going, but I'm hearing mixed reviews. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what I think, not what I know for sure. Okay, so when I was there, obviously I was getting up early to go to the temples. I was getting up at 7 a.m, getting picked up by my driver at 8 o'clock. So when I went out in the evenings, and I did go out, and I had a few ice cold Anka beers, which is a great beer, by the way, for 20 baht a pop. And excuse me. Now, as far as female company, I didn't see any bars that had anything like that going on. Okay, the main, you've got a kind of crossroads with pub street, and another street goes off. It's like a crossroads in the middle where's the center of the action. But somebody told me that around kind of 11 o'clock midnight, you get a few freelancers hanging around there. That's secondhand information, but it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, it's Southeast Asia, isn't it? Isn't it? It's you know, it's one of those sort of places. It probably would support that kind of industry, but it's not in your face by a long chalk. And if you want to go somewhere specifically for that, I wouldn't bother. I went to the capital. I can't pronounce it. Phnom Penh, is it? 25 years ago, and I remember going to a few places back then, and it was very. How can I say it without without breaking YouTube's community guidelines? It was very. I don't know how to describe it. There was a lot of it, and it was hardcore. Tony's Travels. Hello, how you doing, Tony's Travels? D&E-san, I'm on the treadmill watching you, Peter, right now, and it works well. Yeah, I mean, if you can watch a YouTube video and listen, that's what I do, actually. If I have to go to the gym, I'll watch a video and then put headphones in, and it makes it go a bit quicker, doesn't it? Bjorn says, greetings from Hua Hin. I visit Siam Reap over 60 days. Okay. I don't know. I'm actually in Hua Hin on the 15th. I'm actually going with a friend, and I'm going to go to the elephant sanctuary that I went with my daughters when they were over here last year. Very good. Actually, I'll make a video about it because they rescued the the Phuket tigers, the zoo in Phuket. Another YouTuber crept in there and got in a lot of trouble, didn't he? And they ended up at this sanctuary. So those tigers are there in really nice conditions, and they do a full day tour. But the first half of the day is mainly monkeys, and yeah, it's not really. Once you've seen one monkey, you've seen them all, haven't you? Norman Fitzy, very generous. Alpha Omegas and Norman Ward, Dave, 600 baht. I'll probably end up buying him a drink with that. Dutch Frank, how you doing? Haven't seen you in the stream for a while. Good to see you in. nearly 163 in now. Just what's the word? Wasn't planned. It was this or go out in the hot sun, and I'm still not 100%. So I thought, why not do a stream? I'm back on Sunday. Remember, regular stream on Sunday, 8 o'clock, and a member stream at 9:45 p.m. Wes, thank you, mate. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Have one on me, mate. We're saying San Miguel Light is low carb, hopefully low sugar and calories. I looked it up. A small bottle of San Miguel Light has 100 calories, so it's not too bad. And I don't want to give up beer. And whenever I've lost weight in the past, I've never given up drinking beer. I mean, it's heavy on calories, but I normally only have two San Miguel Lights, so it's 200 calories. And then what I'll do is when I eat, sorry, when I eat, I try and calculate what's going to be 200 calories less. And I normally have those 2 beers about 6 p.m. And then I'm all evening. I don't touch it. I'll generally, I've got into drinking wine now, because you can get wine in 7-Eleven. That's very good. It's quite cheap and it's not bad. What's the one I got? Jacob's Creep. Who's the creep? Jacob's Creek. I bought yesterday, and it's in the fridge, so I might have a splash of that later. I've lost my place again. Okay, so I have another one from Dave. There is a new generation of YouTubers in Thailand doing the things that we covered in the past. You're 100% right. It's not easy to come up with fresh content. The other thing is, I suppose the reason they can get away with it is because they've got a younger audience. I've noticed there's a lot of younger guys doing YouTube now. And the guy I was talking about in Pattaya, his audience are never going to look at my channel, because this is, I'm a bit of a dinosaur now, right? So I'm guessing most of the people who do like my channel are kind of around my age or a little bit younger. But I think the youngest guy I've got is Michael, who was in earlier. He did tell me, actually, I forgot, but he's under 40. Who haven't I said hello to? What's the time in Siem Reap? It's the same time as Bangkok, exactly the same time. Ned Smith, hey Peter, get well soon, thank you. Shane, I'm a storyteller. I've seen a picture of you, Shane, where you're on a beach in Pattaya. You had a thing in your ear. Norman, I like your Facebook posts. Keep them going. Okay, I won't read that out, but you can read that for yourself. I try not to be too kind of negative. HK57, cheers from Vancouver. Right, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that name. Good morning. Just on the stories, out of the blue, I've had a lady in Peru, of all places. She sent me a couple of stories about guys trying to scam her. And she said, is it okay to have these read out on your channel? Or are you just doing Thailand and Asia? And I said, no, I said, absolutely. I said, especially that you're a female, you know. So her English is very good, and she's got quite a good job, but she lives in Peru. And she's telling me, she sent me 2 stories, actually, quite short, but about guys who try to scam her, you know, and that's quite interesting. So they'll be in the stories, not this weekend, next weekend. I was a little bit cheesed off this week because the stories that are going to be released this week was a 30-minute upload, 35 minutes as normal. But a guy, I'd already uploaded the video, a lot of work involved, you know, and a guy wrote to me, and the first story was 24 minutes long. And this story, the guy wrote to me and said, oh, can you not, I don't want it to be read out on YouTube now. And I had to go in and chop it out. And the upload for this week's story is only about 15 minutes long. But, you know, I can't record the whole thing again. You know, it's just so much work. What can you do? That's the second time that's happened to me. I had a guy called, he used to come into my channel a lot, especially during lockdown, you know, when we had COVID. A guy, what was his name now? He had a picture of Yul Brynner. He's called something like Siam I Like or something. And he used to comment. He even sent me a few super chats, but I said something which he didn't like, and he basically, you know, didn't come back and he was slating me off on other channels, you know. And I'm looking at him thinking, well, hang on a minute, mate. You used to give me super chats and say nice things, and now you're on other channels slating me. Angus says, a big Thai friendly scene in Siem Reap. I wasn't there long enough, Angus, but I'm sure you're right. Pope San Miguel there from Dutch Farang. Martin Ryder, what happened to the Irish YouTuber you had a problem with? I didn't have a problem with him, and he's actually in this stream right now, and we've just had a conversation. So, Martin, if you go back, later on, you can hear what I said. He's actually given me a couple of super chats, and we were talking about his video, and we're talking about my video. So we don't have any issues, I left the school playground a long time ago. Bijan, lunch or a drink on me when you're in Hua Hin. I'll probably forget. So closer to that date, give me a shout. Let me put my email address up here. I won't leave it there for long. You can go back and freeze it. Freeze it. What am I trying to say? Pause it. There we go. Peter at Thailand-bound.com. Okay. Just drop me an email and we can sort something out. Yeah. Okay. Is that right? Martin Wright says, a bottle of red wine is equivalent to 12 donuts. Well, quite frankly speaking, I'd rather eat the donuts, but I don't think I could do 12, maybe 3. Mike, why isn't that going up there? There we go. I need to get on the San Miguel lights. I've just come back from 3 weeks in the Philippines, and that red horse has given me a right belly, very strong too. San Miguel's great. I'll give you a little tip as well if you're ever in Bangkok. Around Sukhumvit, beer can be very overpriced, especially in Western-style bars. For a large bottle of Chang or Leo, you can pay up to 200 baht, 180 baht. I'm not talking about Nana Plaza and Soi Kaibo. I'm talking about regular kind of expat, touristy kind of Western bars along Sukhumvit. If you go to Soi 14, there's a restaurant there called Suda. It's been there forever and a day. It's kind of a fusion between kind of Thai and Thai Chinese. It's a bit of a spit and a sawdust place. It looks kind of rough and ready, but the food is excellent. It's medium priced. It's not overly priced, but they do large bottles of San Miguel Light or regular San Miguel, 120 baht. Now, normally when I put things out like that, somebody will come back at me and say, oh, I know a place where I can get it for 55 baht, but I have to sit on the steps of the 7-Eleven, something stupid like that. But just a tip, if you're ever around Sukhumvit and you feel hungry, Suda on Soi 14, it was in the Lonely Planets guide before the internet was about. And it's Thai food, obviously, but it's very, very good. I particularly like the small shells of stir-fried in chili. It's called Hoi Lai. I have that very spicy with and the beer is always ice cold, 120 baht. You can't go wrong, can you? Opposite Terminal 21 almost. Okay, so I'm 33 and I'm watching. Oh, okay, great. It's always good to have a few younger guys in, get your perspective on things. Feel free to comment. Angus, how true? Donuts invest now. Mr. Superstar, I'm 36, Peter, and I love your content. Well, you've been in for a long time. I didn't realize you were only 36. God, what I'd give to be 36 again. What I'd give to be 46 again, even 56. Hilko Bosman, what was your illness? Have you been sick? Like food poison? No, I didn't. My stomach is very, very strong now. I mean, I can eat food that other foreigners get the runs from, or they get food poisoning. It doesn't affect me at all. I sort of acclimatized to kind of rough food out here. No, I got some airborne virus, I think, in the aircraft going out to Siam Reap. And my throat was very tickly. And what happened is if I spoke, I would go into a coughing fit. So not ideal to do a live stream. I'm kind of 95% okay now there. Thanks, Shane. I appreciate that. And I like doing them. There's not so much pressure. When you do a regular live stream, it's planned out, especially the member stream, because I've got almost 200 members now. But when I do a member stream, I've generally only got about 50 members in at a time. And it's quite difficult to do a member stream because I don't have any competitions or anything today. I'm just feeding off the chat, and when the chat dries up, it's time to say goodbye, isn't it? I've gone 40 minutes now, hopefully be going a while longer. But with a member stream, the chat actually dries up and you've got to be prepared and have stuff. And what happens, I spend about 3 hours on Sunday afternoons when I have the stream just preparing things. I go through all the news articles, get the quirky stories. I do a ladyboy competition, a guess the Thai girl, the 6 pictures of Asian women, guess the Thai girl. I do all sorts of competitions and things. But the reason I do them is because if I didn't, I'd fall flat on my face, and there's so much preparation. But with these live streams where I just, I don't even have a green screen. Look, I'm showing you my really funky bedspread there, which I didn't choose, by the way, but it's growing on me. I just find them much more relaxed and much more fun and more easygoing. And I kind of could talk all afternoon. Bell, love your storytelling style, Peter. Like the dryness you add, makes me laugh every time. Also love Alpha's rants, legends. Okay, cheers. Okay, the watch Wally. I know you love your watches, Peter. I picked up a Submariner date from my authorized dealer last week after a 3-year wait. You mean a real one? Wow. There's no way I could afford a real Rolex. But saying that, I could probably, I've showed you my fake one lots of times. Now, this is the one I actually like. And I showed it to a watch dealer. And he said he couldn't tell if it was real or fake. And I'll show you in a minute, unless I take it off. And the reason it looks really real is because there's no silly glass in it. You know, you get like the diamonds, but it's actually glass and they're about a half an inch thick and they just look stupid. It's the ones the Indian guys sell you when they walk around in the evenings. You know, they got this fake leather bag, you know, and they don't leave you alone. You know, I don't even say no to them anymore. I just look away. I don't even answer them. The real one of this is about £10,000. Okay. Have I got that right way up? Yeah, there you go. Try and get it in focus. There you go. Yeah. So the real one of these is about 10,000. Now this has got no battery in it. It's automatic. It's not ticking at them. Is it ticking? It is ticking because I've just moved it. I like the strap on it. A real, and it's not going to go. It's stainless steel, so it's not going to go shitty like after a few weeks. I've actually had it about 3 months now. It's got the logo on the side. I don't know if you can see that. Probably not. Okay, it's got the crown on this. It's got all sorts of marks. See if I can get some more. I don't know if you can see these. It's got all sorts of marks all over it. But yeah, the dealer, he said to me, he said, the only way I could tell, it's even when you put the light on it, it's even got the blue coming out. And he said, the only way I can tell is if you take it off and I hold it. And the reason I bought this, I paid, they wanted 8,000 baht. I got them down to 3. I wanted to pay 2, but you can get 2, the shitty ones, in Patpong stuff you can get for 2, but this isn't made in China. It's made in Taiwan. It's top quality. You know, it's a really, really, really good one, and it's slim as well, and it looks a business, right? But the reason I bought it, I've mentioned before, is not because I didn't buy it because I want to look like a flash git, because you don't look flash when you wear a fake or real Rolex in Thailand anyway, because everybody looks and thinks, well, it's probably a fake anyway, because everybody wears fake Rolexes, right? The reason I bought it is I actually like Rolex. I love them. I like the look of it. But there's no way I can afford to spend £10,000 plus on a Rolex. And even if I could, I'm not sure I'd want to. The Submariner that you're talking about, as far as I know, isn't that like $50,000 up? I don't know. That's the one with the green face, isn't it? But I actually like the design. I got a couple of like real watches, but I mean they're like £1,500. That's genuine. That's a tag, nothing special. I say 1,500, and then I've got a what's this one? A Gucci. That's a real one as well. That's about £1,500. Not big money. If you want to see a crappy Rolex, right? That's a crappy one. You could get that for about 2,000 baht. You can see the difference. The chain is not very good. It's quite thick. There's no markings on it like the other one. I bought that initially. I was in Patpong. I don't know why I bought it. I never wear it. Anyway, it isn't the Rolex show. Let's carry on. Derek, I know you tell us this before. Can you open up a bank account if you don't live there? If you don't live there yet, I will move there next year. I've got to be really careful what I say here because everything's been done proper. Let's put it this way: you need a Thai address, okay, to open a bank account. Now, what happened? It was very, very easy to open bank accounts. They didn't really look too carefully, but I'll tell you what happened. There was a couple of guys from India, and they were doing these, these call centers. This is Microsoft. You got a problem with your computer? Let us log in, and it's all a big scam. So they were doing this, and they opened 2 Thai bank accounts, and they put, I think it was 120 million baht in one and a similar figure in the other one to put it back to India. But what made it even more suspicious, they transferred Bitcoin into the bank. So, of course, these were small banks in Pattaya. As soon as they seen this, it blew the lid off everything. They closed everything down for the weekend and said, no, nobody's opening accounts until Monday. And it's all kind of settled down now, but everything's got to be prim and proper. And even, I don't want to mention anything about the agents because they could help you before. But if you really want to open one, I'd say go and see an agent. I'm not even going to mention any names. I'll just leave it at that. Hobson's Choice, some bars, 99 baht Chang, Tiger Pints will try this Suda play soon. There are places around Sukhumvit even where you can get a pint for. I'll tell you a good one. Red Lion on a Monday night. It's happy hour all evening. Okay, all evening. They normally do a happy hour until 7 p.m. I like a pint of Tiger in a straight glass, ice cold. Couple of nice girls working there. Red Lion, Soy 13. Monday night is happy hour all night. You can go there and you can drink Tiger, Leo, Chang, 99 baht a pint. You can't say fairer than that, can you? Bijan, the flight from Bangkok to Siam Reap is only twice as long as the drive from Siam's airport to the hotels. I didn't find it that bad. They built a new Siam Reap. They built a new airport, which is about an hour away from the dead center of town. And the reason they did that, the old airport was very close to town, and they're worried about, the aircraft, all the aircraft landing and taking off. These sites are World Heritage sites, aren't they? The Angkor Wat is a World Heritage site, so they want to protect it. Hence, they built a new airport. Beautiful airport, very, very quiet, but it's way out. Mr. Superstar, yeah, been watching since 2018, 2019. Cheers, Mr. Superstar, appreciate that. Ben, I'm 35. I've been watching you from the start. You've been in 5 years, Ben, so you must have been 30. Thank you for that. I didn't realize you. What it is, because of my age, I assume, that's a big problem I got. I assume that everybody who watches my channel is going to be 50 plus. I just assume that because I'm 65. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, Biana, I'm not going to advertise any kind of fake watch shops in case I get them into trouble, but people can read that. A man about a vlog. Okay, nice name. Hi, Peter. I recently visited the Al Hussein Indian restaurant based on your recommendation. Absolutely fantastic. Some of the best Indian food I've had outside of the UK. Had a superb lamb curry. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I actually don't go there very often because I found a place that I enjoy the Indian food better than there because it's more authentic to the kind of Indian food that we get in the UK. So, and it's indoors and it's air conditioned. But the Al Hussein is still good if you're around in the afternoon and you fancy a cheeky curry at sort of 3 in the afternoon. I went there the other night. Well, this is a killer. One of the reasons that made me decide to go on the diet. I'd been drinking at home here. I'd been on the whiskey. I was watching a couple of good movies. It got to midnight and I was starving. And I thought, I fancy a curry. And I know Al Hussein's up until 3 o'clock in the morning, okay? And I live fairly close. And I did the dreaded deed, which you always regret, is I got dressed. I was sitting in shorts. So I got dressed. I went to the Al Hussein, naan bread, rice, chicken curry, the whole works. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Woke up the next day thinking, you prick, Peter, what the hell did you do that for? I got a belly like a drum, I thoroughly enjoyed it, but this is the problem. You can't eat curry at night, can you? There's a guy who goes to the same restaurant I go to. He's an Indian English guy, so he doesn't like me saying that. I'm just trying to describe where he's from. So he's actually English, but his heritage is Indian. And I used to eat with him, but I don't eat with him anymore because he always wants to have a curry at like 8, 9 o'clock at night. And I can't eat curry at 8, 9 o'clock at night. If I go for a curry, it has to be lunchtime or at the latest, say 4 in the afternoon, because I'm just stuffed. I can't sleep at night. My belly is like a drum, as I say, because I just pig out. I just love Indian food so much. People say you want to do portion control, keep half the naan bread, take it home with you. And that's great intentions. But when you're stuck into a good, what's the slang for it? Ruby Murray curry. When you're stuck into a good Ruby Murray, it's difficult to stop. It is for me anyway. And talking of Ruby Murrays, here's another curry lover right here. Bernie, what a surprise stream. Glad you think that we're all retired. Yeah, well, not long to go. Bernie's another curry man. I've been to the Al Hussein several times with him, but you got something to look forward to, Bernie. Next time you're in, you know where we're going. Well, I'll tell everybody. I go to the new Bukhara. It's by Nana Station, on the opposite side it's on the same side as Game, the bar Game. It's called the new Bukhara. And superb curry, superb. No backenders again. Michael, how many square meters is your condo? It's 51 square meters. I pay 21,000 baht a month. It went up from 20 to 21. This is my 3rd year here. My landlady is very, very good lady. She's not greedy. She knows I look after the place. I don't smoke. I haven't got pets. I don't have any wild parties. That's not through choice. I just can't, But it is a nice apartment. I've got a separate bedroom, as you can see here. But it's solid. Only 8 floors. built in the 90s. I can't hear anything. I never hear occasionally somebody will scratch a chair across the ceiling. I've got a little balcony where I can hang my clothes out, washing machine that's built in, nice quality wooden floors. Love it. I don't want to move from here. The only downside is I don't have a view because there's another building right next to me there. But, you know, the center of Sukhumvit for 20,000 baht, 21,000 at 51 square meters. Can't complain, you know, at that. I am me. Diamonds are forever. Diamonds are a girl's best friend. That film, Diamonds Are Forever, I was living in Ventnor at the time. I think it was 1985 or 86 it came out. I can't remember, but I went to the cinema in Ventnor to watch Diamonds Are Forever. Brilliant. Yeah, well, that's where I got mine from, Hobson's Choice. My MBK Rolex is still working since August. So I was standing there talking to the girl, and I actually said to her, I said, people don't pay 8,000 baht. Who's going to pay 8,000 baht for a fake Rolex? She said they do. And I'm like, oh, fair enough. But I was thinking, nah, she's bullshitting. And a couple of guys come along, West Indian guys, and they started off at 10 actually, but they were happy to pay 8,000. They thought it was a good deal. Bijan, I know a Brit in Jumpton who lived. Oh, I hate that saying, a Brit. I know a Brit in Jumpton who lived in Kampot 4 years. He adores the place. I want to go, but I'm never in Phnom Penh, which is a short bus ride. That I wanted to go as well, but that's why I never went, because Siem Reap's the opposite way. So Phnom Penh's here, Siem Reap's down here, and I think Kampot is up here somewhere. Talking about the Rolex there. David, nice bedspread. Yeah, I know. It's like like I said, I didn't choose it, you know, but it's kind of growing on me. It's almost it's tropical, isn't it? It should be in a thatched bungalow near a beach. Hilco, I'm doing time. Whereabouts? I'm sure you wouldn't be able to send me a message if you were incarcerated somewhere. Mind you, saying that, a guy was locked up in a filthy Filipino prison, and I was communicating with him, and I said, you know, come on, you're not in prison. And he sent me some photographs, you know, and it was horrible. He had like I won't even begin to tell you, but horrible. Nomyai Inspector, good afternoon, Peter. How you doing? Let's get some people I haven't said hello to. Leroy, did you not read my comment about the taxi in Pattaya Beach? I didn't see it, Leroy. The comments come in fast and thick, and I'm trying to get through them. Put it again. I've caught this one. If I see it, I'll read it out. I don't purposely miss comments. Just sometimes I do miss them. Shane, I'm in my 40s now, and I enjoy your streams. Thanks, Shane. I appreciate that. Martin Ryder, to be a proper monger, you need to be 50 plus. Okay. Fitzy, I'm 47 now, but I'm 47 now, but watch you pretty much from the start as well. However, clearly not the youngest here. Well, you must have been about 42 then. And yeah, we met in Pattaya, didn't we? Pope San Miguel, I'm 50, laugh at that. I've been watching your channel since just before you moved into your garage and you were watering the daisies. You know, it's amazing. I honestly didn't know until today. I had so many kind of younger guys in the stream. I mean, occasionally I get the odd one, but I didn't realize so many of you lot out there, so many of you guys are kind of like, I just assumed you're all kind of like 60. Frank, missed you last time I was in town. I'll be back in October. Yeah. There's a couple of guys. There was a guy last night. He messaged me at 4 o'clock and said, I'm in game. Shall we meet for a beer? And I'm like, I was kind of finishing off some stuff on Facebook and stuff. And I wrote back and I said, look, I can walk up there at 5 o'clock. You know, I can't get away right now. I'm just tidying up a little bit of Facebook and stuff. I'll see you there at 5. And he's like, nah, it's too late. I got to go. And I was like, oh, all right. You know, sorry. Sean, how you doing? Just home from work and you're on. Born in 1976. I was 60. I got an FS1E in on the Never Never in. Who remembers the Yamaha FS1E? It was a moped, but looked like an extremely nice little motorbike. They're worth about $5,000 now. I think I paid £650 for mine brand new, if I can remember. Hobbs's Choice. Oh no, the midnight curry. We've all been there, haven't we? The midnight curry. And then, no, that's a bit filthy what I was going to say there. I don't want to put you off your dinner if you're eating. Okay, check bound. Thank you. See you later. Shane, I'm aspiring to be a Monga Martin one day. You're already one. Neck hair, Thailand bound. What happened to your mod? No idea. No idea. I got about 5 mods, and I don't think any of them are in today. I didn't form. Well, I didn't know I was doing a live stream. There's Chris, there's Damon, there's Franco, Andrew Hammond can mod if he wants to. He's mod. Who else is there? I think that's it. I'll put that up there. Excuse me. Like I say, just getting over it. Bell, anyone seen Peter's cartoon about a bar girl? Love that. My 24-year-old son too. That was a Nat and Dave. That was really popular. That's about 3 years old now. I was actually thinking of re-releasing it. Like YouTube don't like duplicate comment, but you can get away with it if you do. You know, if you talk about it for 5 minutes, say, look, I put this out 3 years ago. It's, the reason I'm thinking about relaunching it again. The Nat and Dave, I made it into kind of a 1 hour movie because it used to be every week a 10-minute clip, and I put them all together, made it into a 1 hour kind of film from the start to when she got all the money out of Dave and Jason. And since I launched it, I've probably had another 30,000 subscribers. I'm up to 70,000 subscribers now. And at the time, I think I had about 35, 40. And I'm seriously thinking of re-releasing it again because it was so good. It was so good. And I'm sure there's a lot of people who haven't watched it. And because it's old, it probably doesn't get thrown up on their channel. So they probably don't even know about it. But it's such a good animation. I didn't make it, by the way. Simon made it, my friend Simon. I'll have to have a think, do I want to relaunch that? Okay, Leroy, 3 cars with guns out windows chasing. I actually seen that video. Yeah, it was along Beach Road in Pattaya. The taxi driver panicked and went up on the street. I think he actually went on the sand as well, didn't he? Yeah, quite. It can get quite nasty here sometimes. Pope San Miguel. I'm Clive in disguise, Peter. I had to rebrand. Laugh out loud. Let's have a look at your picture there. It is you, isn't it? Wow. God, Clive, how you doing? Your name before was it Grand Prix, something like that? Nice. Wow. I thought you'd gone to the Philippines, met some nice Filipino girl. Dr. Diff, I ride a Harley Sportster, but watching the way people drive their bikes in your videos, I don't know how they all survive. Yeah, I mean, I thought about buying a big bike. It's not worth it in Bangkok. The thing is, when you drive a scooter or a bike here, you've just got to always anticipate and think you've got to be driving at a speed where you can stop if you have to. The biggest problem I have is when I go down my soy, there'll be the worst of these Grab drivers, these delivery guys, because what they do, they'll be looking at their phone, they're stopped, they're on the side of the, like a quiet soy, like soy 10, soy 12. You'll be coming down the soy and they'll be on the side looking at their phone for the next drop off, and they'll turn around, but they not. Unlike us, we'd look both ways, right? Nothing coming. You do the U-turn. They don't. They're looking at their phones and they just turn and go. And you're coming straight at them. And there was one. I've had that several times. There's one. I normally give them a beep, but there was one particular time, probably 2 months ago. I was so close to hitting the guy, I didn't even have time to press the horn button. I actually had to shout. I was like, "Oi!" It was like panic mode. And luckily, he stopped and I stopped, and it didn't happen. But you've got to be really careful on bikes here. But saying that, I wouldn't be without one. I love it to bits. Thank you. The Bald Eagle. Treat yourself to some fish and chips, Peter, all the way from the West Midlands, England, the home of the battered chip. Bald Eagle, very, very generous of you, mate. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And that will get me a nice portion of fish and chips. I'll go back to the Royal Oak because that's where I like them at the moment. Very, very good there. Very generous of you. Right. Who haven't we said hello to? Bell, do you plan to move somewhere quieter anytime soon, Peter? Is PM 2.5 an issue for you in Bangkok? It is an issue for me, because you might not be aware of it, but over 30,000 people in Thailand a year die of respiratory, I can't get the word out, breathing problems, right? And it is a concern because I see all the foreigners walking around without masks on, and they're only here for a week, 2 weeks, so it's not going to kill them, right? But when you live here and you're going out on a daily basis, I've started to wear masks on the train and in busy places now. But it's not nice walking in the hot sun with the mask on. Let me just check it now. I checked it about half an hour ago. It was really high. It can come down in the day. My air. Okay, update. No, it says 119 unhealthy for some sensitive groups. Okay, so I won't be going out into the park if it stays like that. But in answer to your question, I do want to move. It's just not the right time because Bangkok is a great place for me. It's a springboard to go everywhere else. I've got a car, I've got a bike. The problem with living in somewhere like Hua Hin or similar, you're in a bubble. Even Pattaya, I mean, I'm not going to mention a YouTuber, but somebody said he's doing the same stuff, looping and looping and looping. Okay, the reason for that is because what else can he do? I mean, he's in a town like Pattaya. There's only so much entertainment. There's only so many soys you can go and explore. There's only so many news stories that come out of Pattaya, and everybody's doing the same content. So what can he do? The good thing about living in Bangkok, you've got a lot more. There's a lot more issues going on here. There's a lot more to talk about. And the other thing is I do like to meet viewers, and all of them come through the Nana area, right? And I live in the Nana area, and I do meet a lot of people. Unfortunately, sorry, it's still a bit there. When I talk, it's tickly, Unfortunately, I don't get to meet everybody who I'd like to meet because sometimes I'm busy and sometimes the time is not right for them. But I will move, and I've always said I'd move to Chatham, but I've had a rethink about it. And I think 99%, I think I'll probably move in about 2 to 3 years' time because I get my old age pension from the UK next year, which is about 35,000 baht a month. It's a joke, really. I'll keep doing YouTube, but I think the numbers will go down because there are not that many people interested in YouTube. I want to live in a house, not an apartment. I want to get like a little house so I can I'd like to get another dog that I could walk at night. Do a bit of gardening, maybe that sort of thing. I'm getting on, right? You do things like that when you get older. What was the question? When are you going to move? I won't be moving in the next few years, that's for sure. And I do really like Bangkok. It's a world-class city. I mean, you can get absolutely everything here. You can do everything here. I mean, it's a fabulous city. Apart from when there's an earthquake, that's a different story. Dutch Frank, to be a proper Mongo, you need to appreciate. I think I've read that, haven't I? Let's go down and get some newer ones here. Who haven't I said hello to? Bell. And what do you think about vlogging a dead horse, Peter? Did you see the video where he got into a bit of a fight? I don't really give an opinion on other YouTubers because what happens is it opens up a can of worms, and when you start talking about other people, it gets twisted. And then what happens is one of his fans, you could almost say, will write to him and say, "Did you hear Thailand Bound talking about you and this?" And then it goes, and then before you know it, it blows up. So I don't tend to mention other YouTubers. I've actually met him. I mean, he comes across on his channel as quite brash. I mean, he's certainly not shy, that's for sure. I just trying to say this right. He's a guy, like, he doesn't, in real life, he's not what you see on the screen. I mean, he comes across as quite rough around the edges, okay? But when you meet him, he's quite a polite guy. I mean, I was walking down Soy 8 one day. I don't know why I'm pointing. You can't see it, can you? Look, it's over there. I was walking along Soy 8 one day, and he was just sat in a bar. And I said, "Oh, we're vlogging a dead horse." He was like, "Oh, Thailand Bound." He said, "I used to watch you during COVID." And that was the end of the conversation. So I don't really have an opinion on it, really. And I don't watch his videos. I very rarely watch other YouTubers' videos because I spend all day on Facebook and YouTube. I'm either editing or I'm recording or I'm thinking about the next stream or whatever I'm doing, making competitions. So the last thing I want to do when I click off at night is to start watching videos about Thailand from other YouTube vloggers. I'd rather watch a bit of Netflix or a little bit of a documentary on YouTube. So yeah, nothing to add to that. SOS Chris, Nat and Dave was like a soft version of Private Dancer, very educational for a newbie, entertaining for a seasoned manga. The thing is, it was all true, wasn't it? And the voice was great, the lady. Nomia Inspector, and I've seen Thais riding with one hand and scrolling with the other hand. We've all seen that as well. Welcome back. Pope San Miguel, that's your new name. Great. Okay. So how it works now, in the member streams on Sunday night after the regular stream, and that's when I do the competitions and stuff. So it'd be nice to see you back in there again, Clive. I always pronounce your name wrong, I know, so I apologize. Latha. And Nat and Dave, I have watched many times a very true account of what us silly men let the small head control the big head, all down to loneliness in the Western world. Well done to you, Peter. Thank you very much. But it's Simon really who should take the credit for that one. Okay. Rubbernecking, don't you ever get the urge to head for a cooler climate in the hot season? I have previously been to Lake, is it Toba, Indonesia. Beautiful, fresh air like a British summer, great views and high altitude. The thing is, I don't have a limitless budget. You know, when you start going to places like this, you've got to pay for hotel rooms, you've got to pay for flights, transportations. If I'm away, I still have to pay my rent, I still have to pay my electricity. And no, not really. I am fairly getting climatized now. I mean, I don't like to go out in the burning heat in the afternoon because it's uncomfortable. But sitting here now, I've got the air conditioner on and a t-shirt. But if I'm not on a live stream, I'll have nothing on top, just a pair of shorts. And you see that fan there, that comes forward. And I work all day with that fan on me, no air conditioning. Otherwise, the electric bill will go through the roof. And because of that, what happens, you actually acclimatize to the heat. Shane says, go to Pattaya, Peter, or Jumpton. I love Jumpton. It's a great place, but I couldn't live there, really. The Weird World of Whitaker. Yeah, that pollution in late January wasn't fun in Bangkok. It's still, yeah, it was terrible. Jim, how are you doing? How about that gold price? Up and away. Brilliant, isn't it? 54,000 baht. Really good. Yeah, some of these comments on that YouTube we just mentioned, I'm not going to put them up. As I say, I don't want to open up a can of worms. Sean says, I saw the Tyrish guy sort of mention you and the fish and chips guy. Somebody sent me that post, actually, and I'm sure Dave has seen it as well. It was like the fish and chip war or something like that, yeah. Thanks, David. I appreciate that. And Nomad Overseas, in Phnom Penh at the moment, would definitely recommend any Thai-based expats to come over for a visit. Flights cheap, same with food and drink. And let's go down. Somebody's covered that up. Drink. Many of the girls speak better English than Pattaya girls. So the last time I visited Phnom Penh, as I said, was 25 years ago. I don't particularly want to visit another city, and I've been there. I know it was a long time ago. But that's another thing about Siem Reap. The level of English surprised me. It is a tourist town after all, but even in the markets and stuff, a lot of people, yeah, they spoke English. I wouldn't say fluently, but I had less trouble communicating there than I do here, and I speak some Thai. Yeah, it was all good. It was all good. And if you've come into the stream late, just to let you know, I've got another video coming out next week about Cambodia, where I compare retiring in Thailand as opposed to retiring in Siem Reap. And I go through all the good points and the bad points, mainly good. I talk about healthcare, food prices, Cambodian food, accommodation, medicine, transportation. I'll just go through the whole thing, and at the end of it I'll give you my conclusion whether I personally could live in Siem Reap or not. And if you're a guy, you're retired here and you're not on a lot of money and you're finding it a bit of a struggle because prices do go up here like everywhere else, it might be a place you might consider moving to, because it is considerably cheaper there than it is here. I think the biggest pull for me for Siem Reap, I just got my 30-day notice declined. You know, I think the biggest I'll tell you why in a minute. I think the biggest attraction for me about Cambodia is they don't actually have a retirement visa, but you can stay there on a kind of business visa for a year, and an agent charges, I think it's $300 for the year, and you get this kind of business visa, and you can just keep staying every year. And but there's no requirement to have any money in the bank to do a 90-day report. And that 90-day report really, you know, it's a pain in the ass. It really is. Okay, you can do it online now. I mean, it's not such a big deal, but I did it 2 days ago and I got a rejection letter. It's the first time, being here over 2 years, into my third year, and it's the first time it got rejected. And I think the reason it got rejected because they didn't put a reason in there. Normally, if it's rejected, I know from other people, if it's rejected, you need to go in and speak to immigration. But it just said something, you've got 15 days to complete. I think I did it a day early because I did it 2 days ago, and I've got a report on the 6th of May. So I've just done it again today. So hopefully tomorrow it will come through approved. But it's just a pain in the ass, isn't it? Every 90 days, you've got to go online and put in the same information about where you live, your passport number, and all the rest of it. I feel the old throat going again now. Belle, do you miss anything from the UK? Yeah, I miss Benji, my dog. Now, last time I said this, when somebody asked, I had a load of trolls say, oh, you know, what a nasty man you are. You got 2 daughters, and you didn't mention them, but you mentioned your dog. Well, the reason I mentioned my dog is because I'm in communication with my daughters. They came out here to see me, and they'll probably come out here to see me again. So it's not like I really, really miss them, because we have a lot of text messages and, you know, I phone them. So there's not, you know, I'm here and they're there, but it's not like, whereas a dog, the last time I seen him was the day I got on the plane. He's very, very old now, and he's got a skin complaint, but I'd like to get another dog eventually. I've had dogs since I was a young boy, you know. But in answer to your question, do I miss anything else? I do miss the cooler weather sometimes. I'll be honest with you. I don't miss those days when it's just constantly raining, it's grey, like that. But I do miss, like, you know, when you come out of your house on a November's morning and the sky is perfectly blue. There's not a cloud anywhere. There's no sun, and it's cold. And when you breathe, it looks like you've been smoking. They call it autumnal days. I miss that. Just, you know, putting on a good coat and some gloves and taking the dog for a walk and feeling your feet crunch under the, you know, the ice from overnight. I miss that. You know, it's always hot here, always. And I'm not whinging. I'm just, you asked me the question. I miss in springtime when people first do that first cut of their lawn. They haven't cut their grass all through the winter, and you go for a walk and you suddenly get a whiff of freshly cut grass. I miss that. You wouldn't think you'd miss things like that, right? Or even in the autumn, you know, when log fires are very popular in the UK, or they were when I left. And I take the dog out in the evening, on a November's night, and somebody's got a log fire burning, and you got that smell of burning wood. You know, things like that, little things like that you don't think about. But as far as food, cars, motorbikes, any friend, I haven't got any friends in the UK, okay, because I lost touch with my school friends when I went abroad. I went abroad at quite an early age. I'd come back in the early days for a few weeks, but I don't know where any of them are now. When I went back to live in the year 2000, I made acquaintances. There were people I went for a drink with, and I'd meet up with them sometimes, do different things, explore old airfields and things, you know, very boring stuff. But I didn't consider them good friends. I'd say he was a friend, but he wasn't somebody I would rely on or lend money or something like that. So no, in answer to you, that's a long-winded way of saying no, not really. Didn't see any of that. I don't think there's a lot, to be honest with you. I wasn't in Phnom Penh. I was in Siem Reap. Plenty in Phnom Penh, I gather. Da Vinci Code, thank you for exploring Cambodia and giving us feedback, if possible, alternative to Thailand. So you've obviously come in late because, as I say, I've made a video which I'm going to compare the 2 places to: food, prices, accommodation, visa, the whole lot. That's going to be released next week, and the title's Retire Thailand versus Cambodia. Okay. Wiggler DLT. Hi, Peter. We love living our Thailand retirement dreams through you. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Is that Kai Balion? Did you hear that Steady Eddie? Well, I'm not going to read that out. No, I haven't. I've seen Nick Dean's post where I'll put it up there. I'm not going to read it out. I've seen Nick Dean's post this morning. Somebody sent it to me. They said they released him from hospital, but then he had to go back and he was stuck in an ambulance in queue number 12. So if anybody's got any solid information on that, please let me know. I would like to know. I haven't heard anything like that. That'd be it's terrible if it's true, isn't it? He's a young guy, you know, he's not that old, and been very, very sick. Yeah, no, honestly, I haven't heard that. Michael Redman, I've been here since January last year and only did the 90-day once. For some reason, I managed to always be away when the 90 days comes up, and it resets once you come back into Thailand. Yeah, that's good, Michael, if you make a lot of trips, but, you know, I don't make a lot of trips, so I'm stuck with it, unfortunately. Yeah, well, look, I'll put this up just to say I'm not going to get into it yet because nothing's been confirmed. Until somebody proves it, I'm not going to be doing any of this, okay? Would it be possible to bring your dog to Thailand? It would be, but a couple of reasons I wouldn't do it. One, he's too old now. It's not worth all the paperwork and the, keeping him. I suppose he'd have to be kept in isolation for a while. The other thing is it would break the heart of my girls. They absolutely love him. And the main reason is it's like babysitting, I said I'd like to get another dog, but when I'm living out of Bangkok and I'm a bit older, but right now, I go on trips. I went to Cambodia. I'm going to Hua Hin next month. I was in Pattaya the month before. Most hotels, they won't let you keep a dog in there. I'm not sure I'd want to sleep in the hotel room with a dog. And you can't go out. You can't go out with a dog around the bars and stuff, can you? So no, I wouldn't bring him here. Nomya Inspector, if you got a dog, you'd need to rent a house. Exactly. Fitzy, he's not dead. You're trolling. Okay, thanks for that. Yeah, I didn't think he was. Nick Dean's pretty much on the mark, and Andrew Hammond sent me a post. Let me just see if I can get that post. Maybe I can put it up. I don't know if I can copy and paste it. Here we are. I'll read it out to you if I can. That's a terrible thing to say. Whoever wrote that, if it's not true, how can you say things like that? You should be bloody ashamed of yourself. Okay, I'll read it out to you. It says, it's from Nick Dean's post, right? Update on Ed Sweeney. Because I keep getting messages, I always leave it to Ed because he has been well capable. A few days ago, he left the hospital without the staff informing his guardians, even though they told the doctors and staff to do so. Anyway, they moved him to a care home about 5 days ago, and Ed managed to get Wi-Fi to inform Chris and Maddie. His state has deteriorated, in my opinion, because of the neglect. Today, they realized he was really sick, so they called paramedics who decided he needed to go back to hospital. Chris and Maddie followed the ambulance to the hospital. They have been waiting in a queue to get into the hospital for 3 hours now. They are ambulance number 12. That's where we are up to, is going on in the UK. And that was posted 15 hours ago, so say 20 hours ago now. So to the guy who left that message, terrible. You should be ashamed of yourself, really. I've lost the stream now. Where are we? There we are. Right. Shane says, got the heater on here in Melbourne. Pete, prefer the heat, yeah. I do miss that. I had a nice house in the UK, a nice 4-bedroom house. I did it all up over 18 years. And what is at the end of a cul-de-sac, so it was very quiet. And there was a woods in front of me. But there was a 6-foot fence, so a wooden fence, so people couldn't see in, and there was no access. But what I used to really like when it was at night time, when it was absolutely hammering down with rain, and the central heating was on in my house, so it was really snug. The girls were in bed, all snug and happy, and my wife was in the room watching TV on the flat screen. By that time, we had separate rooms, and I'd be in the lounge, and it'd be throwing it down. And I'd turn the lights off in the lounge, and I'd go outside, and there was a lamppost kind of at the the kidney shape of the end of the cul-de-sacs in the UK, like a kidney shape, and there was a lamppost there. And I'd just stand there for a while, and the trees are blowing, the rain's coming down hard. You can see it, and it gives you a feeling of you're in this nice warm environment, and only that double glazing, that far away is a real storm on the outside. That was quite a nice, quite miss things like that was quite nice. A nomad overseas. It's bloody raining here at the moment. 36, but feels like 42. I am melting. Okay. Da Vinci Code. Okay. Yeah, well, I'm not on that visa. I don't want to go into my own personal details too much, but it doesn't reset or unreset my visa because I'm not on that kind of visa, okay? Okay, I'll just put that one more time for everybody to see. Okay, Toby. I only got rejected reporting once online. Turns out I overstayed. Really? Sean, Mike Peters, singer from the Alarm, died. Okay, I didn't know that. Hobson's Choice, 90-day report is a pain, yes. I've not had an issue for the last 6 times online, but it's always gets you wondering if it is rejection again and having to attend in person during my next week. Yeah, this is a thing. If you get rejected, you have to go to immigration. And if you had it done in Pattaya, for instance, and you live in Bangkok, you got to get down to Pattaya. Could be all sorts of reasons. I'm on my 3rd year now, and I think the only reason this one's been rejected, as I say, is I think I did it a day early, because you've got 7 days on each side. Mine's due on the 6th of May, so I can do it today. I've done it now, so that's a week away, and I can do up to 7 days after the 6th of May. I just think I did it a day early, and it was just an automatic rejection, because when I got the email, it said it was no reply at immigration. So I think it was just an automatic thing. They probably get it scanned automatically, and it just rejects it because it's a day early. Where are you thinking of moving to, Peter, when the time comes? Hua Hin Bell. Hua Hin. I like Hua Hin. Welsh 32. Dog or a ex-wife, bring none of them to Thailand is my motto. Very good advice. Pope. I'll just call you Pope. Well, Pope San Miguel. Ed is one of the original legends of the travel vlogging community. I mean, we had a little fallout because of a third party. I've talked about this lots and lots of times. Ed Sweeney, good guy, but the twat in Belgium, you know, he did a bit of shit stirring, and unfortunately, Ed didn't give me the opportunity to say, like, it isn't true. He just sort of cut all ties, which wasn't very good. But in the good old days, or the bad old days, however you look at it, during COVID, Ed and I did a couple of epic streams. One of them lasted for 5 hours, and we both got extremely drunk. And I think most people in the stream, and I think there was about 600 people in the stream at the time, most people got extremely drunk, and it was really fun, you know, really good. It was all natural. We were just bouncing off each other like we were in a pub or something. And that was the days when nobody could come out. Clive, well, you were in there, Clive, I believe. So one of them was like 3 hours long. One of them was 5 hours long. Really, really good. And you're right, he's one of the original legends. Da Vinci, this evening I must accompany my daughter to Tyler, the Creator concert. I hate his music, but I'm in charge because she's a minor. Yeah, you don't want to be sitting through that, do you? Toby says you're getting homesick, Pedro. Not at all. Honestly, I'm not at all. You see, you got to remember, there's nothing for me to go back to, is there? What have I got? I mean, when I was there, my 2 girls are there. I gave my car to my youngest girl. My doggy hasn't got long left. I sold my house. My wife is my ex-wife. I don't have any friends there because I lost contact with them all when I was, as I said, you know, when I went abroad years ago. What's there to go back for? You know, nothing. I mean, somebody said to me the other day, somebody who's quite close to me, a friend said, you know, when you pass away, do you want your body to go back to the UK? Or do you want to be, you know, I don't know what they do here in Thailand, you know, taken care of in Thailand? And jokingly, I said, well, it doesn't matter to me because I'm dead. You know, throw me in the skip at the end of the back of the apartment building. You know, I won't know. Bell says, I spent 4 winters in Thailand and never sampled the delights. The last time I got weak, forgive me, Peter, I have sinned. Okay. Okay, you're a proper bloke, Peter. I've had the chest infection in between Songkran and diarrhea. I don't too much information there. Hope nobody's eating their lunch. I'm 18 stone and I go to the gym regularly, but this has done me for 2 weeks solid. Antibiotics, etc. COVID 2021. Yeah, I feel sorry for you, but you want to try and get a little bit of that weight off. Really, 18 stone. How much is that in kilos? Maybe you're not as heavy as I'm thinking. At one point, the worst I've ever been was about 112 kilos. Unbelievable. And it was just because I don't like to use the word depressed, but the last 2 years in England with my family they were depressing, because every time I got into an argument with one of my daughters, the second daughter and my wife would join in. And of course, it would be me battling 3 of them. And then I'd have an argument with my wife, and then my daughters would jump in and stick up for her. There was never an argument where they'd say, well, hang on a minute, mum's not right this time. It was always my fault. You know, I mean, it was really, and then of course when it's all over, they all go up to their rooms and I'm left on my own in the lounge with a bottle of whiskey. What do? You know, it gets you down, doesn't it? Toby said, I overstayed 8 days, cost me 1,000 at sea Ratchet immigration. Not a good idea to overstay. It used to be a bit of a joke in the old days. People say, you know, oh, my ticket's flexible, but I've only got a day left on my visa. And they're like, just overstay 3 days, 4 days. It'll cost you 2,000 baht, but not anymore. You know, you can get blacklisted. You've got to be really, really careful. Yeah, you remember Steph. Yeah, he is a bit of a one. No, but overseas, that lad in Belgium he's in a seriously bad way now. I think I saw a picture, unless it was AI, then the chap really didn't look well at all. I remember even back then, he used to do live streams with no shirt on, you know, hair everywhere, drinking out of a vodka bottle and a cigarette in the other hand, like always begging for, you know, what do you call it, super chats. That was back then. Toby Price says, I was full off the drink too on you and Eddie's stream, watched it live. Good old days. I actually released that again about a year ago just because I thought it was so good. Hobson's Choice, 14 days ahead of date. Yep, and up to 7 days after. Oh, is it 40? Well, how come I got rejected then? If it's 14 days ahead of date, then I shouldn't have been rejected because I did it. It was about 8 days. So let's see what happens tomorrow. If they reject me tomorrow, I'm going to have to phone them up. Well, I'll have to phone them up and see what's going on. Massive Coconuts, nice name. Sorry, Peter, if you have already spoken about it, but have you watched a video of the tourist fighting the security in Soi 6? Do you know what? There's been several videos I've watched recently. Which one was it? Was it the one where the guy goes into the bar and the security are dealing with him and he starts a fight? Is it that one? There's too many of them now, unfortunately. Too many. I call them Johnny Bravos. You know, they walk along Beach Road and Walking Street with like invisible carpets under their arms. Johnny Bravos. That's a question I can't answer. Would you go back to England like Eddie to get full treatment on the NHS? It's something I don't want to think about. I don't know how to answer it, really. I don't know. I just don't even want to think about it, honestly. Definitely a bottle of whiskey. Definitely a bottle of whiskey. Okay, look, I'll put that question up. Other people can answer that. I don't want to talk about him, okay? But if you know who we're talking about, maybe you can leave a comment and I'll put it up on. I'll put it up online here. Mark said, if he does visa renewal for me, all I'll need to do is register TM30 here and report as a normal. I must say, he's been ever so helpful on email. He's good. Mark and Pom from One Stop Visa Soi 6 does all my stuff for me as well. But as I say, they sponsor me, so. But I wouldn't take sponsorship off them if they weren't good. I mean, I do my visas with them. They did my driving license for me. I've got 2 Thai here actually. They're 5 years now. It's really weird in Thailand. You don't get a driving license. You get 2, one for a motorbike and one for a car. I haven't got any personal information. I'll just cover up my passport number there. But yeah, you get 2 years initially, and then what's going on there? You get 2 years initially, but he did mine for me in Rayong. One's a motorbike, one's a car, and they're 5 years. I mean, the problem is here, people come here and they don't bother about license and things like that. But it's not like the old days. You know, you've got to do it properly now because the police will stop you and you'll be in trouble. That's a terrible story. Yeah. Toby Price, did you see the news on the ladyboy who got chopped up in Pattaya? Bad news. It was a Chinese guy. I don't know if he's got some mental issues or I don't know the full story, but basically what he did, he went back to an apartment with this ladyboy, and I can't even explain it because YouTube might take the video down, okay? It's all over the internet. You just put in transgender killed in Pattaya and you can get the full story. David, do you ever like watching documentaries on YouTube? What's your favorite genre? I love documentaries. So I've got 2 I like to watch. One is I like to watch true crime mysteries, things like, I don't know, can't give you an example. I watched one the other night. The Black Panther, do you remember him? And Leslie Whittle. And then there was another documentary about Gary Glitter in Cambodia. You know, stuff like that. I like watching stuff like that. Surprisingly, the other kind of stuff which I'll never do, but I really enjoy watching them, are these guys who go out with a backpack. They go into a forest with virtually no food, or they have food, but they have little equipment, and they find a place to camp, and they go out there. They build their own shelters a lot of the time, and they, they make fires without, just from rubbing things together. Survival type. That's what I'm trying to say. Survival type videos, or the guys who get put on an island on the outskirts of Australia somewhere, not in Australia, and all they've got is a container to gather water. They've got no water, no food, nothing except maybe a knife and their emergency equipment like their radios and cameras and things. I like watching stuff like that. I just find it so relaxing. Pope San Miguel, I'm just in England to my business. Born and bred English, love England, but it's not our country anymore. I've got so many thoughts on it. I could talk about it all afternoon, but I don't want to do politics today. Mr. Lovegrove, haven't seen you for a while. Hi, Peter. Are you noticing any changes in? Are you noticing any change in sentiment towards Westerners? There have been a lot of high-profile idiots of late, unfortunately. This is something I talk about in my next upcoming video about Cambodia versus Thailand. And I didn't realize until I went to Cambodia that there is changes. You know, Thailand, when I first arrived here 30 years ago, and that's not to mean I've been here 30 years, I haven't, but I visited 30 years ago. I'd forgotten, and I say this in the video, when I went to Cambodia, the Cambodian, they're so warm, polite, genuine. It's unbelievable, okay? I'm not saying the Thais are rude, but you'll notice a big difference to how, especially Thais who work in Western kind of restaurants, you know, I mean, I've been sitting with a friend, you know, and it's like, they take my order, then they'll take his order, and then she looks at me and says, and you? You know, that is not polite. That is not polite. A Thai would never say to a Thai person, you know, and you? No way. You know, so it's gone that kind of way. And yeah, I notice, I've noticed a lot. And but to be fair, a lot of it's down to the foreigner, down to the Farangs, because they, you know, originally they were like the Cambodians. You went in, they wide you, they took care of you, they pampered you. You know, people act like idiots. They don't appreciate screaming and shouting, complaining about bills and all that sort of thing. It wears thin over the years, doesn't it? And now they look at us like, if you go into a traditional Thai restaurant, you'll still get the why and the smiles and all the rest of it. But I find now in places that cater to Westerners, I'm talking about restaurant, you know, chain restaurants and stuff, you know, they're just, you know, you walk in and you're lucky if they say hello to you. You know, they're like you have to say them two people, and they're like, don't even say anything, just pick up a menu and take you to the booth. So yeah, and I realized that when I went to Cambodia, and I talk about this in the upcoming video. Says hello to somebody else who haven't said hello to. Toby Price, I'm addicted to watching Dad's Army on YouTube. My wife keeps asking what I'm laughing at. They're great. Those old shows are great. I watch it. I watch, funny enough, at the moment, I'm watching Fawlty Towers again. I've got some free kind of streaming videos. They're not on, that's not on YouTube. The other one I love is Minder, you know, with, it's not his real name, George Cole. He's dead now. Fantastic character. You know, and Terry, what was his name? Terry McCann. That was his stage name. I forget his name in real life. But the Sweeney, you know, I mean, I used to watch that in 75. I'm actually watching right now, believe it or not, a series I used to look forward to on a Sunday night. Now, bearing in mind, I'm 65. On a Sunday night at 8 p.m. on BBC One in 1975, they ran a series called Colditz, okay? And if you're English, you'll know exactly what that's all about. And I watched that 50 years ago. It was one of the most exciting TV series for young boys back in the day. And I'm actually watching it now. I'm watching the series. And now I can pick faults in it, but I'm still enjoying it. And when I say I can pick faults in it, the guys who portray the cat, because I've actually been to Colditz in East Germany. I went there a few years ago to visit with a friend. And now I watch the program, I can actually notice inconsistencies. You know, when they film the TV series Colditz and the film Colditz, the windows have sash windows. Well, in Germany, they didn't have sash windows. You know, the sash windows, they have the rope up the side. And just small things like that you get to notice because we're older. But yeah, it's amazing. You know, I'm watching it. I'm thinking, Jesus, 50 years ago when I was 15, I watched that. Alpha Omega occasionally. I love watching Kent's Survival. He has a great YouTube channel. I'm not sure if I've watched him. The one I like the best is, but he doesn't put out that many videos. I've watched all his videos now. And it's a channel called Outdoor Boys. He used to be a lawyer, believe it or not. He got into trouble for having his children on the channel. Outdoor Boys. He does survival stuff. He's great. But I do watch some of the English guys as well. And I might have very well watched this one, Dave. But sometimes I don't get the name because I don't watch all of them regular. There's only certain one I watch regular. But they kind of, when you live in Thailand, people automatically think when you sit down in front of the TV at night, you're going to automatically watch channels about Pattaya or watch other YouTubers. And you couldn't be further from the truth. If you live here, when you click off it's kind of almost like a work, isn't it? When you click off, the last thing you want to do is watch videos about Pattaya or Hua Hin or anything like that. You want to escape, right? We got lives as well. You know, we live lives. Okay, put that one up there. I'll put that up on screen, okay? But I don't really agree with that because, yeah, there's some really bad. The Russians, in particular, you know, they can be particularly rude, as can the Chinese. I think it's everybody. Honestly, I've seen really rude English guys, German guys, American guys. The English can be some of the worst, especially in Pattaya. You know, they can get really rowdy. David, what did you like or enjoy most about Cambodia on your recent video? The people, absolutely. You know, even dealing with a tuk-tuk driver. I mean, I don't catch tuk-tuks in Pattaya in Thailand anymore. But of course, when my daughters came here, they'd never been in a tuk-tuk before. Just put my wallet back here. Don't want to leave that out. You know, my daughters came over, my teenage daughters, well, not teenagers, one's 24 and one's 27 now. They'd never been in a tuk-tuk, so it was a novelty. Of course, I had to go through the rigmarole of hiring a tuk-tuk for half an hour and doing a tour of the central Bangkok. And but just the people, you go to Cambodia and it's like, you don't dread dealing with the tuk-tuk driver. You know, he's all smiles and it's like, oh, how much is it to go there? And he's like, $3, sir. And his look on his face is like, are you okay with that? And you know what, they're so nice. I didn't even try to say, well, can I do it for $2? It's like 100 baht and it's 10 minutes away. And they're just really nice. You know, like I'm in a restaurant and I'm eating my meal and I've had everything I need to see. And I think, I fancy another beer. And I say, can I have another San Miguel Light? San Miguel Light, Anchor, get it right. I'll say, can I have another Anchor beer? And the girl's like, thank you. You know, and it's sincere. You know, people could come on here and say, yeah, but you're spending money in a restaurant. But she's a staff member, okay? She doesn't have to. She just can nod her head, can't she? But, you know, I'm asking for an additional beer, and she actually nods her head and says, thank you. You know, and that's the main difference. You know, I'm not, don't get me wrong, I'm not running Thailand down. I'm not suddenly a big fan of Cambodia and I hate Thailand. It's not that, but that's the thing I noticed the most, the attitude of the Cambodians with foreigners. It's unbelievable, and it brought back some memories about what it used to be like here, and I wish it was still like that here. That's right, Pope's Dennis Waterman. Yeah, I always thought Dennis Waterman in Minder, although he played the part well, I always thought he was the wrong person for that, because he was supposed to be this hardcore minder, wasn't he? And I always thought the image of him wasn't right. You know, I just think he didn't. George Cole made the show, but I always thought Dennis Waterman, I always thought he wasn't really the right character. You know, he didn't. The show worked, but you know, it should have been somebody maybe like the second one. He was good. Do you remember his nephew? You know, Hobson's Choice Colditz was great. It was great visiting there. There's another one, Foyle's War. That was a very, very good drama. I might try and find that tonight. That's set during the war. He was a policeman. That's good. Right, the Watch Wally. I've got 8 years left in the UK. Just work non-stop as there is no life here anymore. Chat, wait to live in the Philippines. Okay, so yeah, I mean that's what a lot of the young guys are doing out here now. One of the questions that I get asked, and I don't know why I get asked this because I don't really know, but people say to me, how come all these young guys can afford to come out here and spend 2 weeks in Thailand? But there's nothing going for them in the UK. You think about it, a young guy, 21, got an apprentice, or he's working in some dead-end job, maybe works in a estate agent, renting apartments or something. You know, he's on £1,000 a month, take-home pay, I don't know, let's say £800-900 a month. I haven't got a clue. You know, what's he got to look forward to? He might be a football fan. He watches a few games on TV, has a couple of cans of lager with his friends. But for going out, what can he do? You know, down to the local pub, one little bit of eye candy that 200 guys have all got their eyes on. They've got no chance of pulling. A lot of the nightclubs in the UK now have closed down. A lot, probably 75% of what there was there in the 80s. You know, what you got to look forward to, a greasy kebab at the end of the night and maybe a fight from some troublemaker. So, yeah, what do? Work hard. They go to the gym, try and make themselves look better. They come to Thailand, they have a blast for a month, and I don't blame them. I'd do the same now. When I was, I don't want to sound like an old fogey, but when I was kind of 18, 19, the UK was a great place to live. It really was. I can't pronounce your name, but you say the Dutch can be terrible too. I've never come across a badly behaved Dutchman, but I'll take your word for it. George Cole is from Tooting. Okay, I didn't know that. I was born in Haringey. It's all right, shithole. Haringey is Tottenham. Well, I didn't grow up there. I was only born there. Spent about 3 months of my first year in Haringey, but that's where my mother and lived. And yeah, not a very nice place, Haringey. Would you say Cambodia is about 20 years behind Thailand in traditional mindset to foreigners? I'd say 30 years, Clive. I'd say 30 years behind. And unfortunately, what's going to happen eventually is Cambodia will become the same as Thailand. I'm glad I'm not glad to be old, but I'm glad I lived when I lived, because can you imagine in 100 years time, there's gonna be nowhere exotic to go. When we were 30 years of age, there was lands that you could buy a ticket to that are going to be exciting, like Thailand. You had these visions of just the Far East, just those words, the Far East, mystifying. I'm going to Thailand, I'm going to Cambodia, but it's going to be done and done and done. And places like Thailand now, Cambodia was like Thailand 30 years ago, and now Thailand is becoming more and more like somewhere like Singapore. The infrastructure is fantastic. The BTS, the MRT, skyscrapers. When I came here, the police used to ride rickety old motorbikes. Their uniforms looked like they were kind of fit all. Now they're really smart. The cars they drive are really nice, like Western countries. They all have nice motorcycles. They're all turned out really good. That's how it's becoming now. Everything's becoming proper. And in another 100 years, maybe 50 years, places like Cambodia and exotic places that you can still go to now, and Cambodia is still a little bit there to explore. There's going to be nowhere left, is there? Because everywhere's going to be totally civilized, totally modernized. One rule fits all, and it's going to be a boring place to live, isn't it, planet Earth? Okay, I haven't heard of him, Dave. I love watching Joe Mannix. I'll look out for him. I don't know him. There's the odd YouTuber, like if I come across one of his videos, I always watch. I quite like that Ride for Kicks video down in Pattaya, because he doesn't concentrate on bar girls. He's got kind of a variation. His channel's called Ride for Kicks. But he kind of does a lot of stuff. He'll go out. He does do motorbikes and car shows and stuff. I don't really watch those videos, but I like the ones where he goes out of town and they visit kind of small hotels in the middle of nowhere. That's not bad. Who else do I watch? Thailand. It'll all come to me after the stream. I can't think right now. Okay, I did say I didn't have a clue. Leroy, lots of people work online now. Can make thousands per day. I don't know about thousands. Baht maybe. Toby Price, Thais have been hardened because of rude holidaymakers. In Bangkok or Pattaya, I see Thais are not as polite as village Thais. It's true. And even if you move out of one thing I said in the video, the Dave anti-Dave video, you can say, the one I made from Dave. Well, what the hell are they doing there? I love that line. One thing I said in my video was, I live in a tourist area in the heart of Sukhumvit. But the reason I love it here is because this is where I meet a lot of people in this area. People who want to meet me, and I do meet a lot of people. They don't want to. If I say, do you know where Sapang Kwai is, for instance? Do you know where Bangwa is? Do you know where Bang Na is? Can you come out to Bang Kapi? They haven't got a clue, right? So one of the main reasons I live in the tourist area is because I like to meet viewers, and they all know Nana, they all know Asok. Okay, so that's one of the benefits of living here. But like I said in that video, I can jump on my scooter, and within 5 to 10 minutes, I can be in a total Thai neighborhood with not a farang in sight. That's how I can do it. And I have a car, I have a scooter, I've got access to the BTS and the metro. I've actually got a senior card for the metro. They're not issuing them now, but that's another story. But I like living in this area. In all the years I've lived in Thailand, I've always lived. I had a place in Soi 4. I've had 3 places in Soi 4 actually over the years. I've lived in Soi 8. I've lived in Soi 22, 24, 38. I've lived as well. All over the place, but I do like Sukhumvit. I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. Right, Spider0064, 100% correct about Cambodia. Spent a week there in March. Also found the same. Laos earlier this month. I might do another trip just to make another video, actually, because a good thing about being in Bangkok, it's very cheap and easy to go to another country, okay? Especially if you've got a multiple entry visa like I have. And the thing is, it cost me 5,500 return, and the hotel for 3 nights was like 3,000 baht. So all in all, I don't know, probably cost me £300-400, okay? So I might go. I fancy having a trip to Da Nang in Vietnam, because I'd like to do the kind of Vietnam War Museum stuff. And somebody told me about a town, I forget where it is now, but I can find out. If you stay there, there's a lot of the old American museum and the traps that they have and all the rest of it. But that's somewhere I'd like to go. I've never been to Vietnam, and I'd like to experience the food. I hear mixed things about the Vietnamese people, so I'm not gonna have an opinion until I've been there. David says, do you think YouTube is part of the reason why more young people are coming to Thailand compared to before, when there was less exposure? Well, you could say the same thing in the 60s, couldn't you? When Alan Wicker had a program. Alan Wicker, if you don't know Alan Wicker was one of the very first, you could say, travel vloggers, but he had a ITV or BBC, rather. He had a BBC crew. A BBC crew used to travel with him, and he used to go to all far destinations around the world. But what was funny about Alan Wicker, he'd turn up in a tropical climate in a suit and tie everywhere. He was a proper gentleman, a real English gentleman. He'd turn up, he'd be turned out. It doesn't matter what conditions he was in, a white shirt, black tie, or whatever tie it was, cash. And so Alan Wicker was really, I'd say, the start of travel vloggers, really. And you could say the same thing. People started going out to the, in the UK, our seaside towns are very, very popular in the 30s, 40s, 50s, maybe not 40s, there was a Second World War going on, but in the 50s and 60s, places like Blackpool, Skegness, coastal towns, they had piers and stuff. And what had happened is people would work down coal mines, they'd work in factories, and for 2 weeks in a year they'd close that factory down, or they'd close that coal mine down, and all those people would go to Blackpool, and they'd have 2 weeks in Blackpool. They'd have fresh air, they'd eat ice cream on the prom, and those were very, very popular destinations for English people. What happened? Travel channels came out in the early 70s. What was that lady's name? Chalmers, I think it was, something Chalmers anyway. And they started highlighting places like Benidorm and Torremolinos and places, Kiss Me Quick Hat, stupid things like that. All of a sudden, people like Freddie Laker, if you're old enough to remember Freddie Laker had an airline. He was hated by British Airways. He started his own airline. Unfortunately, went out of business. But he was one of the first, well, probably the first budget airline out of the UK before you had Ryanair out of Ireland. And then the other one, what was it? The one with the orange logo. God, I can't remember now. It doesn't matter. You don't need to tell me. We all know who I'm talking about. But people started going on these package holidays to Spain and then Ibiza, and it was the towns around the UK, the seaside resorts. They just died a death, didn't they? And now all the hotels are full of immigrants who come across. So they're doing okay because they're paid by the government. But in answer to your question, yes, definitely. I'm part of the problem. So is Dave. So is every other YouTuber. Well, I won't say problem. We're not a problem. Of course we're not. When I came out here, I didn't know the first time I came out to Thailand, I didn't know anything about Thailand. I'd never heard of Thailand. I don't remember reading about Thailand. I wasn't taught anything about Thailand in school. I worked for a hotel chain, and they said to me one day, "You're going to Thailand," and they sent me to Thailand, and that was the best news. I didn't know how, it'd be a love affair with a country for 30 years. I mean, it was the best thing that's ever happened to me. That's how I found out about Thailand, okay? But these young guys, that would have never happened. So yeah, they watch YouTube videos. This looks good, and especially when you got young guys making videos about Soy 6, and they walk down Soy 6, and you see all these, these guys haven't been out of the UK, probably, these young guys, and here all of a sudden on their 65-inch flat screen TV that they got out of Tesco's, they're looking at thousands of scantily clad, drop-dead gorgeous girls trying to pull in these guys on Soy 6 and Walking Street. What are you going to do if you're a young, healthy male and you're sitting at home and it's raining outside and you're bored shitless, and what are you going to do? Of course, you're going to you're going to start watching Soy 6 YouTube videos, Thailand, how much are airfares, how much are hotels, then you're going to talk to your friends, and then all of a sudden it's going to be, we got to go there. They come here once, they get a taste of the Orient and everything that goes with it, and that's it. They're hooked on it like everybody else who comes out here. Sean, you should watch Bushcraft Mo on YouTube. Thai girl, solo camping, off-grid, survival skills, fishing, building shelters, solo. Sean, I'm very, very suspicious of the female survivalists, okay? I've watched a couple of the Asian ones. I don't know if they're Thai. And I've watched some in America and the UK, and you've got these drop-dead gorgeous. I've not seen this one. I don't know if it's the one you're talking about, but you've got these drop-dead gorgeous survivalists, okay? They're out in the middle of nowhere, okay, dressed in very scantily clad top, her boots, and she's making a fire and stuff like that. And the first thing that comes to mind is the first guy that comes across you in these woods is going to take advantage of you. You know, maybe I'm thinking the wrong way. Maybe I'm thinking negatively. I just think a lot of those survival kind of videos are kind of faked. I mean, I've seen some of them where a girl goes to a river. This is in Asia, some village somewhere. I don't know which country, maybe Vietnam or something. She's got a basket under her arm and she wades into this river and she's digging in the mud, and she eventually gets these crabs out and she goes home and cooks them. And I'm not saying she doesn't do that, but a lot of it really looks set up because the way it's filmed, somebody's obviously filming her and stuff. And yeah, okay. He's dead now, by the way. I can't pronounce his last name, but it's on screen there. Well, you can't blame them, Leroy. It says now they turn traveling into a paycheck. I mean, what's easier? Getting up at 7 o'clock every morning, having a shower, going to work for 9 hours for a company you don't like, for a boss you really hate, and have to pay taxes on all your money, or going out into a beautiful country like Thailand and making videos. What would you rather do? You can't blame them. SOS Chris, I often wonder what happened to Simon Land of Smiles. The channel has been franchised now. Well, I can tell you exactly. It hasn't been franchised because I interviewed the guy, a guy called Paul. Nice guy. I don't know if he'll make it the same as Simon did. So what happened was Simon, the legend, the original storyteller, which you all know about. I don't need to describe him any further. Let me just have a quick swish on this, and then I'll. So what happened is he had what he called a little resort in Chonburi. He had a few rooms that he'd rent out, and some guy was paying him to stay with him long term and stuff. And his partner, Mam, I don't know if it was his wife, but they were running. So he had his YouTube channel. They were running this little resort. So they had guests staying there and everything, and they were getting by, and he was living his nice life in Thailand. I believe he was an ex-taxi driver from the UK, Simon. And then COVID come along, and they tried to outlast COVID. You know, people helped them. Some people offered him free accommodation and stuff, and eventually they closed down the resort because they couldn't afford to keep it going. And they tried to hang on as long as they could, and they couldn't. And eventually they both went back to the UK. I'd heard, this is secondhand information, I'd heard that they'd got he and his wife had got a job in, you know, when you drive into the COVID, it's like a car park, and you drive under a screen and they take your temperature, then you go to the next one, someone's there with a clipboard. I heard his wife was doing that. But I know when he went back to the UK, he was doing a few live streams, because I remember watching them from the UK. And I've heard, and again, this is secondhand information, I don't know this, I've heard that he had an accident, okay? Actually, I do know, I don't know the details, but I know he had an accident. And what he's done, Paul, who's got a website called Go Hopping, I think it is, he knows Simon. I'm just going to make sure I don't say anything that's not correct here, because you know what happens. Paul approached Simon and said, "Look, Simon, you've made it clear you're finished with Land of Smiles. You don't want to do it anymore, or you can't do it anymore, whatever. Instead of letting the channel die, why don't you let me take over it? I'll do what I can do with it. And let's see what happens." Paul came around to my apartment. I said, "Well, I'll give you a hand up." I did an interview with him just a few weeks ago, and the video was called something like Land of Smile Rises from the Phoenix. I don't know, I can't remember. And I interviewed the guy, and we just talked about what his plans were and everything. And I haven't been back to the channel since, so I don't know. But that's really what's happened from start to finish. Okay, so now you know. Do you know what? You said there's thousands of ways to make money online. It's true, but you know, these guys, I watch TikTok sometimes, and they'll come on and say, "Hey, I'm like, guy's 18 years old, right? He's like, "Hey, I'm 18. I made my first million a year ago when I was 17. How did I do it? My online course is available for just," and how they make their money It's selling online courses. It's not making video. And a lot of guys, they'll come on and say, hey, you should be using AI. You can do a video every day. You don't even have to make it. You just, it'll go out every day. You'll make $1 million. Rubbish, absolute rubbish. The way they make money is selling starters. There used to be an old joke. What's the easiest way to become a millionaire? Stick an advert in a local newspaper at the time, saying, send me £5 and I'll tell you how to become a millionaire. The guy would send him £5 and he'd send him a letter back saying, stick an advert in a paper saying, send me £5 and I'll tell you how to become a millionaire. It's the same old game, isn't it? Fitzy, I think because you are living in Bangkok, Peter, so like any big city, locals are generally less friendly, but they used to be very friendly here. I'm not saying they're all unfriendly. I don't know him, Clive. What do you think of Keys Adam? I've seen his videos. Yeah, he's a younger guy, isn't he? He's got a big following. Like I say, I don't like to talk too much about other YouTubers' channels. It can blow up in your face if you say the wrong. Let me give you an example of how things can go wrong. Okay, so guys used to write to me and say, look, I've got this Thai girlfriend. I met her on Thai Friendly. This has happened, but I think she's a good girl. Here's the details of what happened last week. What do you think? And I'd write back and say, well, look at the details here. Look at what happened here. Do you think this is really? And I'd do this quite often. And one day I had a Thai girl write to me in English. Okay, and she wrote to me and she said, you should mind your own business. My boyfriend's just broke up with me because of you. You don't know me and you don't know him. And now I've lost him. And I felt really bad for her, And so I still get guys write to me and they say, oh, I met this girl and I don't know if she's got another guy or what's happening with her. And I tell everybody straight now, so I'm not putting anything on paper because, this guy, I sent this guy an email and he sent it to this Thai girl and she had a go at me. So this is an example of how easily things can go wrong on the internet. Right, I don't know if you've directed this at me, Leroy, or somebody else. You've put, never mind, you obviously don't have a clue. Check the millionaires list. Okay, so let me just, it was nice knowing you. Okay, right. Gone but not forgotten, but how's the saying go? I can't remember. Toby Price, how are the numbers on the Cambodia video? Well, it's only been out a day. I can have a quick look. I released it yesterday. I mean, it was out for members before then, but you can't really count the numbers there. So it's coming up to 4,000 now. So it's been out about 24 hours and it's done 4,000 viewings. So yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I've lost the stream. There we are. Hobson's Choice. I'd like to try and visit Da Nang to Vientiane, Laos. Yeah, you should do if you get a chance. Do it. Alpha Omega. I interviewed Thai and Chinese girls in Hoi Quang. I probably pronounced that wrong. The Chinese girls have a really refreshing attitude towards Westerners. Yeah. When I went to China, I did 2 stints in China. One was in Beijing and one was in a place called Dalian. And I wasn't a great fan, I'll be honest with you, but that was many years ago. People getting really sensitive on here with each other. Hobson's Choice, Wicker's World was fab. Yeah, he was good. Judith Chalmers, that's it. I was trying to think of the early, she was one of the earliest, wasn't she? EasyJet, that's the other airline. Wish you were here. That was it. If I'm not wrong, it used to go out on a Sunday earlier after Harry Seacombe. Do you remember Stars on Sunday? Stars on Sunday, and Harry Seacombe always used to come on with a song. Whoever told him he could sing. Yeah, I watched that. It was quite interesting. It says Wick had done a program on Pattaya Beach Road, interviewing people coming off the QE11 anchored just off Pattaya Bay. And I mean, that was in the 80s. And even then, there was an incident where the jet ski scammers wouldn't let this English guy get back on the boat because they wanted 20,000 baht or something. And the captain or somebody off the ship got involved. And it was a bit messy, but that was even back in the 80s. Spider, I remember my first trip with Dan Dare Air. Mr. Lovegrove, I have traumatic memories of the early 80s holidays in Benidorm, egg and chips while watching Only Fools and Horses. It was no Thailand. I hear where you're coming from, but egg and chips, lovely. And Only Fools and Horses. Ben, Alan Wicker was a closet monger. Well, who can blame him? Can you imagine what it was like in them days? Young UK lads primed to get sick buffaloes. That's another thing that always puts a smile on my face. You know, when guys leave comments and say, "Oh, all these old guys who go out to Pattaya and get scammed," and it's not just old guys. Young guys fall for it as well because they believe they're different. I mentioned this in a stream before. You get a lot of younger guys who make videos on TikTok and everything, and they're walking along and they're saying, "Oh, don't go to Pattaya. It's a terrible place. It's a terrible place. It's full of dirty old West Indian men sleeping with bar girls, and it's don't go there. It's awful. It's the thing. You know, all these old guys. You know." But the reason they probably don't like it is because they probably think they're young, good-looking, handsome studs, and when they go to Pattaya, the girls are going to be all over them. And the truth of the matter is, the girls aren't interested. They're not. They're not there because they like drinking with young guys. They're there to make money for their families. And I've been told by many a bar girl that they prefer to hang out with an older guy because it's going to be quick, it's going to be easy, there'll be no hassle with the money, and there's always a tip involved. And young guys, I've had this conversation with young guys, they're like, no, they're just telling you that. Of course they prefer younger guys. Well, they might prefer to look at younger guys and in a perfect world go with perfect girls, but it's about the money. And again, you know, I can only tell you what I've been told. They just want to make the money. Right, Leroy, you're not giving this up, are you? Millions of ways, many millions hours are made every day. They are. You're right. There are millionaires. What I was trying to say with my comment was, I would say probably, just as a guess, I would say probably 95% of people who make money online make anything from a few $100s to a couple of $1,000s. Okay, the few people who make millions, I would say it's not. I don't know how to explain it. Do you know what I'm trying to say to you? I'm trying to say it's not the majority; it's a minority. There are people who are very good at doing day trading, stocks and shares, investing in cryptocurrency, and they make millions. Of course, there is, and no denying that. But what I was trying to say is, your average YouTuber, TikToker, online drop shipper, those sort of people, you know, you talk a couple of $1,000s if they're lucky, right? And I think that's the norm. Shane says, too many people on YouTube want problems. Yeah. Dutch Frank, I am missing half of the chat on the screen. Laugh out loud. Don't know what's happened there. Jim Coles, if you're going to Da Nang about 30 minutes south, that's the place I was thinking of. That's the place I was thinking of. Do you remember when I said somebody told me about a place where they have all that stuff? You said there's a south is Hoi. Well worth a look. Yeah, definitely. That came up on the last stream, actually. Okay, I think we're there, guys. How long have we been going? Just over 2 hours. Christ, it's 4:20 in the afternoon already. I have to go out and check the weather. Peter, Leroy is talking to someone in the chat, not to you. Okay. Toby Price, the worst day was Sunday for UK TV. Highway was Seeker. Terrible. Then Heartbeat. I liked Heartbeat. I really liked it. I liked the first episode. Greengrass. Remember him? He's dead now. Then Work on Monday. You know, let me tell you my experience of Sundays in the UK when I was growing up, when I was probably 13, 14. It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. My mum would send me to the garage. All the shops are closed, but if you wanted a packet of fags, cigarettes, in the UK, a fag is a cigarette. I know it's got different meanings in America. Your mum would send you to the garage, the local petrol station, because that had a little shop attached to it, and you could buy cigarettes there. You could be 10 years old and ask for 10 number 6, and they'd sell them to you. There was no age verification or anything like that there. You'd trot home and give them to your mum. It was boring. We didn't have any internet. We didn't have any computer games. I mean, you had books and you went out and played. If it was raining, you were stuck in the house. You were looking forward to the TV. And yeah, Highway with Harry Seacombe, you know, it was about as exciting as watching a burning orphanage. It was terrible. And then Colditz had come on, and then it was great. Yeah, Sundays in the UK. Hobson's Joy in London Burning. I didn't really like that show very much. We've all got our favourites, haven't we? But the good thing now about modern, you know, living in the modern era, anything that you used to watch. Remember Juliet Bravo? You know, you can watch it all now. It's all live streaming. I must have watched. You know, Fawlty Towers is a benchmark for all modern comedy. it's a benchmark. They say it was the best comedy ever made, but do you know they only ever made 12 episodes? It seems like a lot more, but they only made 12. And I must have watched the 12 over the years, probably 5-6 times at least. So, I don't know if you do you remember an old a Gregory Peck movie called 12 O'Clock High. Okay, I don't know if you can remember it. You should go and watch it if you haven't seen it. It came out in something like 1943, and it was about an American airbase in the UK, and Gregory Peck was sent to take over this airbase. And that film is still used today as a training video with big companies about management, how to be a good leader. Because in that movie, 12 O'Clock High, in that movie, he was just, I can't really explain it. You need to watch the movie. But just the way he conducted himself. Can you imagine 1943, black and white, and it's still shown today as a training movie in major companies. The staff would, they'd be put and watch this film as a training aid. Amazing. Okay. If I hear one more story on some of the YouTube channels about foreigners thinking an Asian lady is different, I will scream. Still entertaining though. Have you noticed how many more story channels have come up? And a couple of them I've had to kind of report because I've been stealing stories from my channel. One guy who did it, when I reported him, YouTube allow you to kind of defend your case. And he wrote back and he said, well, that story doesn't belong to Thailand Bound because somebody sent it in to him. And my reply was, yeah, they sent it in to me and gave me permission to read it out. He didn't send it to me and say anybody who can pick it up can read it out on whatever social media they want. Like little dogs clicking up my heels. There's a little bit of infighting going on here in the comments. The reason I'm pausing between comments is because I don't want to read any of those out. I'm kind of reading them and then going down to see if there's any serious questions or everything. My favorite 40 Tower episodes were Basil the Rat and the Psychiatrist. Mine was Murphy the Builder. When his wife went away to play golf and they wanted to put a new door in, and she hated the builder Murphy because he cut corners, and she went away. And of course, Basil wanted to save a few quid. He brought Murphy, and of course, he cocked up. He didn't put a lentil above the door. I only watched that the other night. Actually, really good one. Okay, there's a lot of talking here, so I think that's about it. Can't believe it. I've been going for 2 hours 7 minutes. When I started the stream, I thought, well, I'll do a half an hour, 45 minutes, because I didn't do it on Sunday. It's now been over 2 hours, so it's been I had over 200 in this stream today. So I'll just say thanks to everyone as usual, guys. If you left a super chat, thanks. I know you work hard for your money. Sincerely, I do appreciate it. It's easy to come out with those words, but I really do, really mean it. Okay, thank you very much for the super chats, guys. Thanks for being here. It's been a lot of fun. I'll be back on Sunday night, 8 p.m. Thai time as usual for the regular stream. I'll have a short break at 9:30 for 15 minutes. Then I'll be back for the members stream where we have lots of bits and pieces going on. But for now, that's it. Shall I end with the normal music, or shall I just click off? Let's end with the normal music. It might be a bit loud, so get your finger on the button, as it were. Okay. Thanks a lot, guys, and hopefully I'll see you all on Sunday.